between the East Kentwood Falcons and your Saline Hornets. And now, let's meet today's starting lineups. First, the offensive starters for the visiting East Kentwood Falcons. At offensive lineman number 50, Logan Brown. At offensive lineman number 51, Jeremiah Webb. At offensive lineman number 56, Davey Martinez. At offensive lineman 57, Leonard Fullwood. And on offensive line number 72, Dallas Fincher. At wide receiver number 11, Omarius McCoy. At wide receiver number 10, Rael Day. At wide receiver number 7, Spencer Westmoreland. At wide receiver number 2, Stefan Bracey. At running back number 20, Keontae Blakely. And the quarterback for the Falcons, number 6, Kyle Dent. Head coach for the Falcons, Tony Kimbrough. And today's defensive starters for Saline, starting at the defensive backfield, number 2, senior MJ Griffith. Number 13, junior Kyle Greenwood. Number 12, junior Noah Nelson. Number 21, senior Isaac Zandak. Starting at linebacker, number 36, junior Alex Morrison. Number 59, junior Monty Green. Number 10, senior Tyler Turk. Starting on the defensive line, number 91, junior Zach Saban. Number 90, senior Jacob Ashley. Number 94, senior Brad Wyszynski. And number 99, senior Adonis Demo. The Hornets are led by head coach Joe Conrad. Ladies and gentlemen, the privilege of this game was made possible by those who have fought and continue to fight for the freedoms we enjoy. Let us now honor and respect their efforts in our country. Civilian gentlemen, please remove your hats active and retired military, we encourage you to render the appropriate salute. And everyone who is able, please stand for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us for this district final game of the Kentwood football team and the 2018 Saline Hornets. East Kentwood comes into this game 9-1 on a 9-game winning streak, as does the Hornets folks. And for East Kentwood, the game's probably going to go on up in the trenches with Michigan commit Mozzie Smith, who comes in at 6'3" and 320 pounds, as well as Bryce Matsella, Dallas Fincher, and the number 1 overall recruit in the entire state of Michigan, Logan Brown, their offensive tackle, who comes in at 6'7" and 305 pounds. He's going to Wisconsin, so they got a lot of Big Ten talent on both sides of the trenches. And for Saline, it's going to be a challenge up front. However, look for them to get the ball out to Griffin, and especially Murphy early, to try and get the ball out quick.
Well, Nathan, I think we're going to have an interesting contest today. It's a beautiful day, so if you're able to, there's plenty of seats still available. Come on out and enjoy what I think will be a very good playoff game today between Saline and East Kentwood. I'm looking forward to it. It should be an exciting contest. Saline will be getting the ball first, as East Kentwood won the toss and they deferred to the second half. And let's see if the offense can't get it going early and put some points on the board.
Well, people have been able to put points on this East Kentwood defense. I'm right into it with 28 points last week before their backup quarterback went in. So you know that their defense does have some holes in it. It's going to be interesting to see is that on the bad side, or is that due to a little bit of a lack of discipline. But I do expect Saline to be able to get some points on the board. The question is going to be behind East Kentwood, who is one of the best offensive lines in the state, with just that tremendous college level size. Is Saline going to be able to stop the run?
Well, Nathan, as we were talking before the contest, you know, Saline, this isn't anything new for Saline. They have placed several teams over the years with this type of talent. Detroit Cass Tech was loaded, and so this isn't new for them. And so hopefully they come out and play their game and put some points on the board.
Back to return for Saline, number 2, MJ Griffin, and number 22, Joel Clomega.
Griffin and Clomega are back deep for Saline to return this kickoff. I'm gone now. Here's the kick. Going to go to Griffin. Fields it at about the 4. Hit at about the 5 and tackled right there about the 10-yard line. So they pinned Saline deep to start this first possession, but let's see what the offense can do.
Once again, folks, you're going to get Mozzie Smith, the Michigan commit, who's the 4th-ranked overall prospect in the entire state of Michigan. Is going to be lining up between the defensive end. He was in practice, at least early in the game, he was lining up as a 3-tech. So that's going to be Carter St. Lawrence and Noah Ayers who are going to be drawn in. And then you're also going to have other guys, Dallas Fincher, as well as Logan Brown, who might rotate in from time to time.
Arbar back at quarterback.
And Murphy's going to go in motion here.
Monday with the carry. Carries it over the outside, breaks the tackle, cuts it up inside over the 30, and a gain of about 22 yards on that first carry.
We saw the run run it to the opposite side of where Smith was. Smith was on the right side. Lined up as a gear attack right over the head and chase around the center. But at least so far, they did a really good job double teaming him. And I think you're going to see that at least so far. You saw Murphy, who was blocking on that. I think it's going to be really up to him to set the edge.
Hand off again to Monday.
This time they run right at Smith, and he falls forward for a second game on 7 yards.
Over the 40-yard line. Good start for Saline.
We mentioned that this East Kentwood defense, they have given up the points. Brighton scored 28 on them in the first half before their starting quarterback got injured and they had to go to their backup. So they have, throughout their games this year, they have given up 20, 25, 30 points. It's just that that offense, but behind that high-powered offensive line and star running back Keontae Blakely.
Monday again with the carry.
That's how they win. They scored First down, shorts, and they lost that 48-30. Even in their loss, they almost put up 40 points.
So a first down for Saline. Second one. So far, everything is Brendan Monday. And no sense in going away from it as long as it's working.
Absolutely. You wonder if they're going to start showing more in the box here, if Saline's going to be able to run it with success. And that's going to be essential for Saline because their bread and butter this year has been running the football more so than passing. We've seen Arbaugh struggle at times a little bit more than Saline quarterbacks in the past between Schwarzenberger and Daniels.
Again, Monday with the carry. Tries to go outside. Tackled just short of the 50-yard line. Pick up about 2. Looks like we might be having a little technical difficulty with our mics, but we'll get that resolved here quickly. This brings up 2nd and 9. Not a great spot. Arbaugh passes out to Griffin. He cuts it up and carries it over the 50 down to the 46-yard line. Pick up of about 6. Brings up 3rd and 3 from the East Kentwood 46-yard line.
Test.
All right, Arbaugh's looking for the sign from the sidelines. Hand off to Monday again, cuts it up, got the first down and more. Over the 40 to about the 39, a little over 39-yard line. First down, Saline at the East Kentwood 39-yard line.
And it's hard to bring down Monday with those arm tackles, folks, if we've mentioned. He's a big running back, but I think they're going to get the ball out to Griffin, and that was really important on that second down play. I don't know if they have anybody that's going to be able to stop him on the outside, and at this point it's going to be Saline's best athletes versus East Kentwood's best athletes. Both these teams are really well coached, too. Joe Polka comes into this game with a career record of 69-11 since he's taken over at Saline. So,
Again, pass out to Griffin, makes the first man miss, fumbles the ball. It's still loose, and East Kentwood recovers at their own 29.5-yard line, or 28.5-yard line. So Griffin was trying to make a little extra out of that, and they punched the ball out, and we'll see what the defense can do here.
Well, that's the second time in as many weeks that he's had trouble holding onto the ball there, but now you're going to get the chance to see Saline against that monstrous East Kentwood offensive line. It's going to be interesting to see who lines up over Logan Brown. Is it going to be Wisniewski? Right now it looks like it's going to be Ashby, but Wisniewski comes into this game, the Hornets leader in sacks, so 7.5 and 16.5 tackles for loss. And now they have 3 split out wide, 1 to the left, or 2 to the left, 1 to the right.
Quarterback keeps it. He's pursued, and he's knocked back and tackled out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Loss of about 6 on that play. That was great pursuit by the Saline defensive line, and there was just nothing there for East Kentwood's quarterback Kyle Dent.
Well, Saline's not going to run themselves out of contain. They're so well coached and they're so disciplined that East Kentwood's not really going to be able to, trick them. They're not going to be able to pull stuff out of the back of their playbook and beat them, how they beat other undisciplined teams. They're going to have to execute their star plays. And now it's the matchup that we've all been waiting for, Brad Wisniewski versus Logan Brown, the number 1 overall ranked prospect in the state of Michigan.
Dent's back to pass, throws it up high, And over the intended receiver, that's number 10, Rael Day.
That's a heck of coverage there by no one else at number 12. And it's just interesting that both these teams come in to this game with 9-game winning streaks. East Kentwood out of the OK Red won the conference this year for the first time since 2014, but they play in the big boy leagues, folks. Hudsonville, Granville, Rockford. They play really, really, really good teams. And speaking of which, whichever team wins this will host the Rockford Rams. Saline's able to win. It'll be a rematch.
Again, Dent back to pass. It's a screen pass. And he breaks it. And he's gone. That's
yeah, that can't happen. That just can't. Third and a mile. You know, they got them right where they wanted them, and it wasn't anything. But that's what they do to you, folks. That's what they do. Now it's going to become the Saline's offense is going to have to respond rather quickly here.
So Kentwood's able to get those quick plays, those big hitters, and so it was a screen pass. Saline didn't read it, and once he broke the second wave, he was gone.
Well, their offensive line is so big that they just kind of envelop whoever they block. You know, I mean, you put Brown and some of those other guys out there, it's going to be hard for guys like Tarek and Morrison, you know, to get around a guy that's 6'6" and 310-plus pounds.
And the kick is good, and that makes it East Kentwood 7, Saline nothing, with 8:48 remaining here in the first quarter. So that turnover was costly.
It was costly, but we saw Saline move the ball pretty well, at least in the first half. And we know how leaky the East Kentwood defense can be, but Saline can't really afford to have any more turnovers than they already have right now. With as high-powered as this East Kentwood scoring offense is, and with them getting the ball first in the second half, they got to find a way to punch it in here. You don't want to go down by 2 scores.
And Saline hasn't trailed much this year.
No, they haven't.
We'll see how they respond, and hopefully it's positive.
I don't know if they've trailed at all since Grand Rapids Week 2. Now that I think about it, I don't think they have. They were down 7-0 early, but they came back to win that game 17-7. And they were up early against Chippewa 13-0, and then they came storming back. But Saline was able to, courtesy of a long Brandon Monday screen pass touchdown, was able to get within 5. However, Saline's defense was unable to give the Hornets the ball back with a chance to win the game. Now you have Griffin and Clomega deep, folks, who are the Hornets' 2 best pure athletes, and the ball is going to go toward Griffin at about the 8-yard line, going to have a chance to return it.
Nice block by Clomega, and there goes Griffin. He's got to beat the kicker. Carries it out over the 50 to about the 45-yard line of East Kentwood. So that's the kind of response that we want. Because as we also, while East Kentwood has the athletes, Saline also has athletes.
Well, that's what you want to see. You fumble the ball, and then he responds back. He's not hanging his head. This is his senior year. And frankly, this is his team because he's the best all-around player that the Hornets have. You know, Joe Polka doesn't play people 2 ways. And this is the first time ever that he's really played Griffin, that he's ever really played anybody both ways. And you look at who Saline's had. They've had Josh Jackson. They've had Dimitri Douglas. They've had guys that have gone Big Ten. They've had guys that have gone ACC. And this is the first time ever that.
Again, Monday on the carry, kicks it out outside, and is tackled over the 40-yard line, pick up about 9. So Monday's getting some good yardage on these runs. And I think that Saline is, until they stop it, going to keep pounding it.
Well, you just get the feeling that until they're able to stop it, Saline's going to be able to have a chance to get some points on the board. They have to be able to hang on to the ball. That's been their problem. Arbaugh had interceptions the last couple weeks. They had a couple fumbles. Arbaugh had a fumble in the red zone last week. Arico had the fumble. Griffin had that fumble that was returned for a touchdown. So they're going to have to definitely be able to hold on to the ball here. Because right now they are running the ball quite well.
Fake the handoff over the middle to Brendan Murphy, and he should score. And he does. And the poor referee almost bit it.
And that's how you respond, folks. That was the perfect play-action pass right there. Throws the defense. And Murphy, who was at a hockey tournament last week, comes back, and boy, that's how senior to senior, folks. And right, Saline, in about 30 seconds, responds right back, and that's 2 drives. They moved the ball very, very well, so you get the feeling it's going to be another high-scoring game.
Well, luckily it was only 20 seconds, so that's even better, Nathan. And, that's what we say. Quick strike offense, Saline has it as well. So J.T. Turner, better known as James, ties up the score, and it's 7-7.
And folks, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. That was an accurate pass by Arbaugh, and he's going to have to make more of those. He had Murphy wide open, and he threw it right in his lap, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered. And I tell you what, that's going to change morale for the Hornets really quickly. They just got to be able to stop especially Keontae Blakely, folks. I mean, 1,550 rushing yards in one season of high school football is pretty incredible. He's run for almost 30 touchdowns. So he's getting it done. I mean, they have a lot of guys on this team that are going next level, as we've already mentioned. However, as Gashke said, this isn't anything new. They played Cass Tech and probably should have won that game. They were ahead 42-35 going into the fourth quarter of that game, and that team had Donovan Peoples-Jones, Jalen Kelly-Powell, and then we played Final Four of that 2014 state championship run year. When they had Michael Onwenu, Mike Weber, who are now Weber starting at Ohio State as the running back, and Onwenu getting the start at right guard. So they've had players. Rodney King went to Eastern Illinois, was their quarterback. But so that's the one thing, too, and it's really hard to win here. Like, to come from across the state, that's another thing Saline has the advantage of, but it is really hard to come out of Hornet Stadium with a win. It really, really is. And if you do, it's not by much. Saline does not get blown out here.
Turner kicks it off, and back in the end zone for automatic touchback. And East Kent will go on offense for the second time. We'll see what the defense can do. I think that they'll adjust. They have all season, and they will continue to do so today.
Well, and Turner's going to have a huge role this game. They're going to have Blakely back, and we saw what he did, how his electric speed, his electric athleticism, turning a 3rd and 16 play into a touchdown. His best bet is just going to be to pin him deep in the end zone. You don't want to give him a chance to return it, just like I'm sure East Kentwood doesn't want to give Griffin, the 3-star going to Temple, a chance to return it because he made them pay by returning it to the 45-yard line.
Exactly.
And this is one of those games where you're just gonna want to pin them deep. You're gonna want to make them march 80 yards.
And off to Blakely. Makes it first guy miss, and picks up about 18.
Well, and he was in the backfield. Saline was able to. They just gotta tackle a little bit better. Flat out, it's gonna be a long day for them. They got to be able to bring Blakely down a little bit more than what they are currently.
Yeah. Because he's not. He's no slouch.
No, he's not, and he's the quickest and most athletic running back they've seen all year. He's a quicker Brendan Monday, because Monday runs through people, but that next level speed's something he doesn't quite possess. Blakely runs through people, and he has the product of being behind a massive offensive line.
Hand off to number 2, and he is just met.
That's Adonis Gammo. Yeah, he blew up whoever his man was. That was toward the left side of the offensive line, folks, where they got their big talent. And that's one thing about Gammo is he's not the biggest, but he is so quick off the ball. You have to be able to completely envelop him, because if you give him a little bit of room, he will make you pay.
So that brings up 2nd and 12 from their own 36-yard line.
Well, and Saline's got to be able, on these 2nd and 12 and 3rd dogs, they got to be able to get off the field here, whatever it takes. Because you give them too many plays and they will be able to punch it in.
Dent back to pass. Bounces the ball, incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 12. So this is exactly what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, you can't. It's going to be hard to win, if they're that 3rd and 16, was something they really should have gotten off the field. But let's see if they're able to regroup here, because you get the feeling whatever team makes just a couple of stops is going to be in the driver's seat.
Exactly.
Because, they have had no answer, absolutely no answer for Monday. He's getting 6, 7, 8, 9 yards every time he runs the ball, and they're running it toward the outside. They're trying not to run it too much in the middle, because that's where, Mossy Smith's Hulk and frame leads.
Again, Dent back to pass.
He's got time. Pocket
News.
And he's not going to be there. He is going to be
way
well
short.
short.
He's going to be 5 yards short. We'll say 4 yards short. And let's see what they do with it.
I can't.
And they're going to send out the punt team.
And I tell you what, folks, that is a heck of a stop. Great coverage, because he had time.
He did.
And we've seen Saline's secondary. They struggled a little bit last week, but Chippewa, who's as good, if not better, than East Kentwood, we saw Saline's secondary really struggle later, but they held up. He had plenty of time, and they had plenty of athletes who get down the field quite well.
Malinzak deep to return this kick.
And let's see what impact he has. He had a couple of drops. He had a couple of drops last game.
It was a end over end, and it'll be down in about the 16-yard line. So that's where Saline will take over, 1st and 10 from their own 16-yard line.
And, folks, I will tell you this. I think whatever team wins this game will beat the Rockford Rams next week, because Rockford has squeaked by Hudsonville and they squeaked by Traverse City West. And Traverse City West has a really weak schedule up. Obviously, there's not a lot of teams up by Traverse City. And you saw, I mean, they squeaked by squeaked by Hudsonville 27-24. And East Kentwood beat Hudsonville 41-3. So, I mean, the game was over before it started. And obviously, whichever one of these teams wins, Rockford's going to have to travel. And then Saline or East Kentwood's able to win this, then it's probably a matchup with Clarkston or Lapeer that looms next. And
there's a flag on the play.
And if you're a Saline fan, you'd like to see nothing more than that.
Procedure penalty against Saline.
That'd be a 2014 matchup of the state title, Saline versus Clarkston.
So it brings up 1st and 15 from the 11-yard line. These are the type of things Saline needs to avoid.
They do. But they have Clomega in the backfield.
And Clomega gets a handoff, and he's met in the backfield, fights his way back to close to the original line of scrimmage.
Late flag. I think there's going to be a personal foul. It was in the area of Arico. They were clapping. Ebert and Arico were clapping. They were talking to the referee, so I think it's going to be a personal foul penalty, and I think that it's going to be on East Kentwood based on the direction of. So as soon as Saline kicks himself in the butt, and it's going to be a personal foul. It is on East Kentwood. I could see by the way Arico and Ebert were clapping in the general area. They were trying to draw the flag, and they were successfully able to, so that bails Saline out of that false start, and that should be an automatic first down. So I don't know what they're conferencing about.
It's an automatic first down either way.
It should be a 15-yard.
Yeah.
And that's going to get, you don't want to give Saline that kind of field position. That gets them out of the shadow of their own end zone, and that really opens up the playbook quite a bit.
It does. So now it's 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line. Again, it's about discipline. It's about not having silly penalties, and that was after the play clearly, and it's not about fumbling like we did on our first possession. The team that minimizes those, I think, is going to win this game today.
I think it's going to be up to that, and I think whichever team's going to have more defensive stops. Because, I mean, this is going to be a game, I don't think there's going to be any team held under 30 points. It's going to be a very, very, very high-scoring game on both sides.
Pass out and flat to Murphy, and he's wrestled out of bounds after a short gain of maybe 2.
And I definitely think this drive, especially third, they know what it's going to be up to Saline to get it to Clomega, and especially Griffin. And this is what I like. They're bringing Clomega and they're bringing Griffin. They're both on the field at the same time in certain packages. Not right now. They're not. Right now you got the two running back look between Monday and Clomega, but those guys are hard to stop, folks. I mean, and Murphy and Monday may not pass the eye test, but they got some speed on. And Murphy's just strong. Murphy is flat out extremely strong, and Monday runs through everybody.
And Monday cuts it up inside, and again, good recovery there by East Kentwood. No gain on the play. Matter of fact, probably lost a yard. Bring up 3rd and 10.
And now you're going to have to. And now this is when Andrew Arbaugh is going to have to show that he has the ability on these 3rd and longs to make a pass. And this is going to be the first time that Saline's really, going to have their backs up against the wall. You're going to have East Kentwood with their ears, ready to lunge. I mean, this is the first time that Saline's really had to have that pocket hold up. It's going to be interesting to see how that offensive line and how well it holds up.
Quick pass out to Griffin. He's met immediately, and no gain on the play. So we've tried that play about 4 times now, and I think Kentwood's
they're starting
sniffed
it
out.
Yeah. Absolutely. And now as soon as they go 3 and out, we go 3 and out. So we need a big punt from Cropsey, and frankly, I don't think he should put it anywhere near whatever. I mean, you want to put it toward the sideline and hopefully get a beneficial roll here.
Day back deep. They have a unique formation for East Kentwood because they actually have 2 guys deep on this.
Good snap, Cropsey. That's
nice
a
punt.
Good punt.
Real nice punt.
About the 30. yard line. You got a miss. And he is wrapped up at about the 43-yard line. Oh, Saline, solid job right there by the Hornets to
Brendan Murphy on special teams in to make that tackle.
stop him doing it. And you saw Noah Ayers right there around 2 getting down. Was able to get a hand on Ari Turner.
There's your long snapper hustling down the field. We saw that last week as well. So it'll be 1st and 10 from their own 43 for East Kentwood with 4:52 remaining here in the first quarter. I think we're still feeling each other out on these teams. Fake the handoff.
And that's not working. They've tried that too, and it's been 1 or 2 yards every time. I mean, and they've not been arm tackling Bentley. I mean, it's good as he is. It's hard to run through Morrison, and it's hard to run through Tarek. And Tarek a little shaken up, limping right there. Maybe he's got steps on trying to walk it off. But you do want to force Kentwood in obvious passing situations because that kind of takes away the surprise of running. And right now I think they're trying to keep everything in front of them, trying not to give up an extremely long gain. I'll move the 6 right there, and that's a good pass. Not a bad coverage there by Noah Nelson.
Complete to number 2, Stephen Bracey.
That was good coverage. Just a very, very good throw right there.
Takes it down to the Hornet territory at the Saline 43-yard line.
And I tell you what, folks, we saw Christian Tanner, their kicker, warming up, and he was booting it from 25 yards out. So, they will be content to kick field goals, and they actually had that field goal.
Blakely on the carry, picks up 8, takes it down to the Saline 35-yard line.
And they had that field goal against Brighton, that
the only
made
score
the difference.
In the second half.
Exactly, made all the difference. And now Bentley's starting to get going a little bit here. Now you're going to want to see what Saline's defense is going to be able to do to try and halt some of the momentum.
Be 2nd and 2. Again, Blakely with the handoff.
And he's bottled up, and he's going to lose yardage.
We'll bring up 3rd and 2, but I think this is 4-down territory. Even though he's got a good leg, I don't see him banging it in from 50. So, and there's no reason to punt at this point. So, they will more than likely go for it on 4th down if they don't make it here. They're bringing an extra blocker in the backfield to try and free that up.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they do anything but run it here. Obviously, though, they might pass it to try and catch the Hornets by surprise, and they don't. And Blake, boy, he is close. I think they're going to give it to him.
Yeah, he fell forward for it.
That's a solid tackle there, a solid shoestring tackle. Looked like he was close to breaking one.
So it'll be 1st down, East Kentwood at the Saline 32-yard line.
As we approach 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. And folks, the important thing to remember is Brighton got out to a 28-14 lead.
So it did. And Brighton just rolled early on, and then, like say, they lost their quarterback, and the whole game changed.
And I think there's going to be a timeout for East Kentwood. Right now, folks, is about as evenly matched as you can be, and this is what you live for, especially as a high school announcer. I mean, this is about as good as it gets when you see guys that are going to be playing for big teams next season on Saturday. Maybe some talent that has a chance to even go as far as Sunday afternoon. And these are guys going to Big Ten schools, Wisconsin, Michigan. They got a senior by the name of Dallas Fincher who's got offers from Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. So they got 2 offensive tackles who are both have Big Ten offers. And this is about as good as it gets. And you playing for Saline, I know they love the role of underdog. I mean, they love being underestimated. They were underestimated even though they ended up losing to Cass Tech by 1. Not everybody was giving them much of a shot because that was one of the most athletic teams Cass Tech has ever had. Between Jalen Kelly Powell and Donovan Peoples-Jones, they were so hard to stop. And Saline took them right down to the last minute of the 4th quarter. They were actually leading, and it was Peoples-Jones who scored on them.
It was a 2-point conversion.
It was that 2-point conversion on the far side of the end zone on that slant route that Peoples-Jones caught right in front of Robbie Felton. And Felton had him shut down most of the game. He played very well against Peoples-Jones.
Again, a handoff to Blakely, and no gain. Well, he did. He picked up about 3 on that, maybe 3.5.
Well, and you saw Terrence, too. He read it all the way there, but it was number 50 for them, Logan Brown, who did a good job enveloping Tarek, but if there's one thing you know about they fill hard. Saline's linebackers fill very hard on their poles, and they will punch you in the mouth.
So it brings up 2nd and 7.
With about 2 minutes to go here in the first half. And you wonder how long we're going to continue to go before we see some of Saline rotating in with Baldus and Conan, who had a lot of size to the interior.
Again, the handoff to Blakely, and he's met immediately.
And that was Ashby, Morrison, and Greenwood. They had 3 Hornets in on that, and they're going to give him
2 yards on that.
That's an interesting spot.
It was generous, but it'll be 3rd and 5.
And now you wonder if they're in 4 down. I think they are in 4 down territory. I mean, they're going to run down the clock, and this is what you didn't expect. You didn't expect this game to become a little bit more. It's starting to slow down a little bit. They haven't been able to punch it in. You know, they're getting 4, 5, 6 yards at a time, but they're not getting the long strike. And now if you're Saline, this is when you make your money, and this is when you have to be really disciplined.
Missed assignment there, and number 2 was wide open. Somebody misread the play.
Noah Nelson, yeah. He struggled a little bit whenever he's had the ball. He was the one that gave up a couple touchdowns against Chippewa Valley, and he was the one that gave up a touchdown against. There is going to be a flag on the play. Oh, no, there's a flag on Chippewa. I don't know what the call is. Oh, boy, that's huge.
That's a huge flag. Again, the mistakes, they'll kill you every time.
That is huge, absolutely. And now that forces them out of field goal range. That's a 15-yard. You know, but the one thing, even though Nelson was probably playing him a little too loose, he did keep it in front of him, which is important. You know, you can't get beat. And this is when Saline really, but that's going to move them all the way back to the
43-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and about 3rd and 20.
And that really helps Saline right there, folks. That really helps them. But they have to be able to get off the field. You know, with all these penalties, that's 2 costly personal foul penalties that Chippewa's had.
And we've already seen what East Kentwood could do on these 3rd and long plays. You got to be disciplined. You got to make the tackle. And
well, they got to get pressure too. I think they're giving them a little bit too much time in the pocket. They're doing good on run, but they did a good job last drive holding serve on their coverage. And now the home section of Saline really getting riled up.
Back. There's holding, clearly holding. They tried that screen pass again, but it was clearly holding against Jonah Ashby right in front of the official. The offensive lineman had a hold of his jersey, was dragging him down, but Saline would have declined the penalty anyway.
It's 4th and 21. Yeah, you don't want to give them any downs. Doesn't matter how long the yardage is. And now I don't think they have a choice but to punt it.
Yeah, they're going to try and pin Saline deep here.
And give Saline credit. That is 2 times now that their defense has been able to stop the high-powered attack of East Kentwood. And now it's up to their offense has to score right here. I mean, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. With East Kentwood getting the ball first in the second half. This is a team that's made their money scoring and scoring and scoring. And Saline's defense is right now doing exactly what they need to do, and now it's up to their offense.
And again, Malinzak deep, and we jumped. So they'll get 5 more yards. They get a little chance to kick it a little closer.
And that's a little bit undisciplined on both sides, and that's Hayden Scott, who you normally don't see make those mistakes. You know, and it's kind of a silly penalty, too. He's lined up right over the long snapper. So, you know, that's a smart play for them, though, trying to get him to freeze and gives him 5 more yards. Best thing right now, and hopefully he's able to boot it into the end zone and give Saline the ball at the 20-yard line.
Exactly. Because if he shanks it, it's still great for East Kentwood.
And, yeah, that ball's going to be at about
the 4-yard line.
4-yard line. Yeah, now Saline, you wonder how they need to get some yards on this, whatever, because you don't want to be able, you don't want to be punting from the shadow of your own end zone.
No.
So they have to get the offense going at least a little bit here. And I don't think you can be too conservative in your play calls.
Well, and East Kentwood's got winning the field position battle right now.
They are. Saline's defense has done a good job holding them, but it might turn the tide of the game if Saline's able to march 96 yards here and punch it in. They had the personal foul penalty against East Kentwood last drive that gave the Hornets the ball at about the 40-yard line, and they weren't able to do anything with it. Let's see how they react here. Griffin goes in motion.
Handoff to Griffin, cuts it out outside. Bulls through some tacklers and carries it almost to a first down. That was a nice run.
Well, and this is one of those games where maybe against the Ann Arbor schools, you try to keep him on a pitch count just to keep him healthy or whatever, but you keep him healthy for days like this. Like, I think he goes both ways, and you might have to run him into the ground a little bit, just flat out.
And that was a first down, so it'll be first and 10 at just outside the 14-yard line. So nice pickup there by MJ.
And that helps there. And now you want to get some positive yardage and probably regroup at the quarter mark with only 54 seconds to go here.
In the first quarter.
Griffin in motion again. And they're going to give it to Griffin again. And it was Kyler Blake Jones who got blown up on the right side of the offensive line. And there's going to be another personal foul penalty. Holy moly, that's 3 Nonnies, Kentwood. Boy, they are playing a very foot. Oh, yeah. That was clear. I mean, you know, he's trying to go to the ground 5 yards, and they have another guy that comes in and pushes him out of bounds. That's 3 now, and Saline's got to be able to make them pay for this because they're not going to be doing this all game.
No.
But that's 30 yards that they got.
30 yards of gift.
Well, and then they had the first down here where they probably score if they don't commit that penalty.
Chop block is, you know, I mean, it's an interesting thing. It's you don't always know when the other guy's engaged, so that is a difficult for linemen to know because they're taught to go low.
They are.
So.
Well, that is a big break for Saline there, but Kyler Blake Jones has got to hold up a little bit better than that on the right side. You know, if they're going to run it to the outside, Saline's got to be able to hold their defense. Because if they're able to hold their defensive linemen down, they're going to have a good chance to succeed. It's going to be over to Griffin. Good block by Murphy. That was a heck of a shoulder block. Yep. Griffin's got to hold on. He's got to hold on to the ball. He's trying to do a little bit too much, I think, to be honest with you. I mean, he had 3 guys around him, and you saw him trying to spin around here. So.
And they were clearly trying to strip him.
And we're going to get a foul now on Saline.
And Saline got the chop block. Again, like I say, it's a difficult thing.
You don't see 2 chop block calls against. You don't see 2 chop blocks in football very often. That's an interesting call. Now Saline's right back at the first and, I mean, what is it going to be? 2nd and
25.
That's really going to hurt them. Really hurts. Or first and
25.
And now you got to get some positive yards here if you're the Hornets. 1st and 23. You need to get. You have a little time to get it back, but you want to get 7, 8, 9 yards here to not make it such an unmanageable.
And again, the handoff to Monday, breaks the tackle and keeps going, and that's a nice run.
That is a nice run.
We've gotten away from that a little bit, and he'll pick up 5, 6 yards on a crack. He has already on the first 2 drives we've gotten away from that a little bit.
And I think that's a solid 6-yard gain, and I think that's gonna be the end of the first quarter. I don't think Saline's gonna be willing to take the ball off here. So I think the story of the first half is it's just been a really sloppy game for both teams. I mean, the chop block penalty is a little weird. You know, I personally, all the high school football I've watched, I've never seen 2 chop block penalties in 1 quarter. You know, you've had the 2 personal foul penalties on Chippewa, or on East Kentwood, excuse me. But you have 2nd and 17 at the 19 here, and you've had success with Griffin. You've had success with Murphy. So definitely I think that Saline's going to have to dial something up here. You're not seeing East Kentwood get a lot of pressure, though.
No.
And that's one thing that is encouraging. You wonder if they're going
to. Fireball will understand that, realize he has a little bit more time, and then he can do a little something else. Getting a few texts here, Nathan. We've got some people listening in. We got the Griner family again. They've listened to most of our games here, and they let us know that they're tuned in again today. All the support we can get, whether it's here at the stadium or on the internet, it's greatly appreciated.
And after 2 quick opening scoring drives by both teams, we go the last 8 minutes of the first quarter scoreless. And now Saline's going to face 2nd and 17 at their own 19-yard line. But the one thing, too, you wonder about Arbaugh is if you see, you know, these six guys, you know, running toward him, how is he going to respond? Because
Arbaugh fakes the handoff and deep over the middle. Oh, intercepted.
He
overthrew Murphy. And number 10 made a really nice. He dove and laid out for it, and Rael Day, and picks it off at midfield.
Well, if you're Saline, it's going to be hard to win these games if you have an interception and a fumble in the first 12 minutes and change of the. But both teams have shot themselves in the foot, so. You know, and I know Polka's not extremely happy with that, but if nothing else, it served to flip the field at least a little bit.
Yeah, I got him out. You know, it's at midfield, and the defense is going to have to. But I think what they're explaining to the official right now is Murphy was being held on that as he was running down the field, and trying to, MJ Griffin, as your senior, was trying to explain to the official, you can't hold him. There were 2 or 3 guys on him. The only reason he couldn't get down the field is because somebody had a hold of him. So, but we'll see what happens here, see if the defense can get the ball back quickly. Again, Dent, quick out into the flat.
And Saline's playing back quite a bit, and that's a solid tackle there by Brad Wisniewski. Comes from his defensive end spot to wrap him down.
Pick up about 7. Stefan Bracey gets a little wobbly after that. Probably not used to having a defensive lineman come down and tackle it. So it brings up 2nd and 3 from the Saline 43-yard line.
And you wonder how much longer Saline's going to be content. I mean, they're playing East Kentwood. They're trying to keep everything in front of them right now. They're not really, uptight press coverage. It's more of, playing back, giving them 5, 6, 7 yards.
Again, Blakely with the carry. He tripped up, but it looks like he fell forward just enough for the first down. So it is a first down, so it'll bring up 1st and 10, East Kentwood at the 40-yard line.
Now you're going to have Henry Conan check in for the first defensive substitution of the day. Zach Saban comes out, and we talked about Conan last week, how he started off at offensive line this year, wanted to play left guard, was in the competition, was briefly running with the starters. Had a little bit of trouble getting in gear, and he moved to the defensive line, and now he's become a force. And you look at him and how big he is, and he gives them something that they don't have a lot right now, and that's a lot of size on that interior.
Fake the handoff, gives it to Blakely, and he bulls his way forward. Ashby on the tackle, but not before he picks up 4 yards. And actually, Conan did a really nice job there. He forced Blakely to change direction, but Blakely is so strong, and he still picked up 4 yards on that.
He did. But Saline's doing a good job not letting him get 10, 12 yards every time. They're doing a good job tackling, and their linebackers are so well taught. That ball's batted down by Jonah Ashby, and now that's going to bring up 3rd and 6. Good job there by Ashby going over number 72 for them, Dallas Fincher. It's not often you see a guy like that go over a 6'6" offensive tackle to block the pass, but that's the one thing, too, though, is Saline, everything that they have, they're going to give you. They're going to throw everything at the table. These guys might be 230 pounds, but they're all of it. I mean, they're going to play, with every physical attribute that they have, and they're all extremely strong. I mean, all those defensive linemen, there's no fat on them. You'll see 320-pound kids that are, quite big, but, I mean, when you have a bunch of 230-pound kids,
rolls it out. He's got pressure, and he is sacked.
Zach Saban. And on the play right there.
And one of the things you're might see again today too, and we've seen in many of the games thus far this season, is Saline wears you down.
They do wear you down, and you wonder. I can't imagine they're going to go for it here.
4th and 11, we'll see.
Well, it's 4th and 11, and Saline gets very good field position if they, with the way your defense has been playing. I think I'd punt it and pin them deep, but no, they don't pay me to make those calls. Now you see the fans really getting hyped up here.
They may be also trying to draw them off to get that 5 yards in a more doable, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to jump, make Saline jump. They've got to be disciplined here.
Well, the cat's out of the bag now. If they didn't jump, they're not going to jump now. That's probably that's a good job by the defense.
Take a timeout.
And then they're probably going to punt him. I couldn't imagine
that, or take the delay a game penalty, one of the two.
I can't imagine that they would have gone for it right there. I mean, it's just your defense has been playing great, and their punter's got a leg. So if you have a chance,
they did take the delay a game penalty, so they were just trying to make Saline jump, and then they were going to try and pin them deep again. So
they give Saline credit. I mean, this is 3 times they've had good field position, and they have not been able to punch it in. So it's turning into a little bit of a defensive trick. I mean, who would have thought that at the start of this game? 2 high-powered offenses. Saline, however, was only averaging 9.5 points a game. That's what they were giving up coming into this game, but East Kentwood was scoring 45 points a game. So, definitely encouraging to see Saline's defense keep up their part. It's going to be up to the offense now to get something in.
Again, that high snap.
It was almost blocked by Andy Clark, and he still got it off for a solid punt. And Malinzak, you got to start feeling some of these. I know, buddy. I mean, the punt's rolling 6-7 yards, and that's twice now. He's kind of been standing around. and been content to let it roll inside of the red zone.
But again, it's Kentwood's for the mistakes that they made, they are winning again. They're winning the field position battle. They're starting no worse than their own at midfield, and they're pinning Saline deep, and they're making Saline go the length of the field, and that's it's going to be a challenge. And that's because, like you said, Kentwood is not a great defensive team, but if you're going to go 93 yards for a touchdown, it's hard for anybody.
Yeah, and you got, especially when you have a Michigan commit in the interior of your line.
Pass out on the flat to Murphy.
Little bootleg, and that's successful right there.
Picks
and I think
it out
that's
to
the
the
first
20-yard line.
And that's a simple little play right there, and it's a nice little bootleg right there, extremely accurate. I think that's going to be the key for Saline. Is I don't think you can have Arbaugh throw it 30, 35, 40 yards. Flat out, he hasn't shown the ability to be able to complete those passes. But it's the intermediate passes that he has had success with.
And Murphy's a load for any defensive back to bring down. He just is, and that was evident on that play. He punished both of the D-backs that were trying to tackle him there.
Well, he's a hockey defenseman for Saline, so, he has a little bit of that kind of blue-collar, chip-tooth sort of work ethic.
Hand off to Monday. He cuts it back. It's nice crackback block, and there he goes. And there's a flag, a late flag. Horrible call on that play. The official just a horrible call. There was no holding on that. It was a beautiful block by Andrew Arbaugh, your quarterback, and they flagged him for it, and that's a horrible call. I'm sorry. I don't like that. We've talked about all year long about the officials being high school officials, but you just can't blow that call. Andrew Arbaugh squared the guy up, made the block, and they called him for holding. That's just ridiculous. There was nobody else on that side.
That's a bad call. That's a bad call. Yeah, and they were bad last week, and they've been bad this week. So I don't know what the MHSAA is doing, but that's a bad call. And that hurts.
And I haven't said I haven't been that vocal all year long, but that's just a horrible call. You could see it. I called it a nice crackback block. He didn't hold anybody.
He didn't even block him. He just stood in the way of it.
He stood in the way, and they flagged him and that's horrible.
And that hurts.
The officials can't decide these games, and it's just a bad call.
You see Polka he was livid right there, and I can't say I blame him. That's just a great vision by Monday, and a senior making a great play. That's all that was.
And your quarterback selling out, making the play, and he gets penalized for it. And now we have the Wildcat, because Arbaugh probably got shook up on that play. Just a bad call.
Now you got 1st and 20, and you're back at your own 9-yard line.
Griffin cuts it up inside, keeps it, and he breaks through.
Man.
Beautiful play by M.J. Griffin.
And if he breaks it, he's gone.
Yep.
So,
But he gets up slowly. And so he's injured on the play.
But they ain't going to be able to keep him out. He's going to go in on, if he has to go in on one leg, then he has to go in on one leg. But one thing you're seeing Saline's up. Maybe there's something that they need, because they have looked a little lackadaisical the last 2 drives. Maybe you never know what's going to get the fire lit under them.
Yep.
You never know what's going to get the fire lit under them. But, it's hard for any team.
Yep.
Any team to have to beat a team like East Kentwood and the referees. It is.
Right. It is. And, it's okay. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. It's just that one was blatantly obvious. And, if it was a judgment call, that's one thing. That clearly wasn't a judgment call. Arbaugh back at 2nd and 4. Another flag on the play.
Holy moly.
Good for a 1st down to Colton Malinzak. And that should be a flag for a horse collar as well. But the referee must not have seen that either. You can't tackle by the helmet. It's just a funny
they're going to call a face mask on them, and that's going to be a 15 yards from the. Boy, it's been a.
I don't know if they add it on there or they take the 1st down, because I think the pass completion would be a further yardage.
But I don't know. I think it's going to be 15 yards from the end of the catch is what I think it would be. Yeah. But if it's a personal foul, it is.
Add on. There you go.
That's going to take him across midfield. No, wait, I don't know. Well, now Saline's cooking. Now they flip the momentum, and
it's good to see Colton Malazak make a play. He struggled a little bit last week, and so he is an integral part of our offense as well.
And I'll tell you what, though, you got Sitterly and you got Murphy. Those are two big tight ends. Those are two big boys, and if Saline runs to the whatever, you got Hayden Scott, who's a tough runner. They got to be able to capitalize on that because you got, they're lined up on that far side, and those are two athletic kids.
And handoff is to Scott, and he follows his blocker.
And a solid run, about 2-3 yards.
Lance Blazak leading the way for him.
And they're fighting. I'll give them that. I mean,
I think this has motivated them.
I think it has too, because something needed to light a fire under them.
Apparently it lighted a fire under me too, Nathan. So,
well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. We said last week how it wasn't very good, but it didn't make a difference in the game, and that you feel bad for the kids. You really hope that that's not the thing that turns the tide of the game. You really hope. Because that was one of those plays. Remember when Gage Hammond was returning and he.
Yeah, there's a motion play on Saline.
And there have been a lot of penalties on both sides.
Yeah.
Sloppy game. Sloppy game.
And nerves may be playing a part in it. They both know they're good teams. And they're trying. I think what we're seeing is they're both trying not to make mistakes, and it's leading to mistakes.
And now you're seeing Griffin, who's going to come back in on these second and longs, and that's the one thing is he was that close to breaking it for a touchdown. He's the one guy I genuinely think that you can give him the ball one-on-one, and
we got two on here on this side. A nice pass to Monday, and he's going to run by him and inside to the 30-yard line.
And I tell you what, that'd be a heck of a drive if after that call, Saline's able to punch it in again.
Now, even though that was a great play, I don't think Arbaugh looked out here to his right, because if he would have, he would have seen that he had two receivers with only one defender on this side of the field. But that's okay. It was a great play, first down. Oh, they said he stepped out the 31-yard line.
You got Monday motion with Smith.
Good driving run. Pick up 3 on the play.
3, maybe 4. Yeah, solid run there. They're not losing yards. They're doing what Canton does essentially. They're getting 3, 4, 5 yards every run, and that's a productive down. And especially on this, we're in 4-down territory.
And Monday was very, very, very patient on that. He waited for his blockers, and that enabled him to get those 3 yards.
And I tell you what, they got 2 Big Ten top 5 prospects in Michigan. And right now, Saline's. Oh, are you kidding me?
Brendan Murphy.
Oh my goodness.
Murphy stayed
my goodness. Oh boy, if that's not justice, I don't know what is. I guess the universe does watch football. Saline catches a break after East Kentwood.
There is a flag on the play, so it may be coming back.
If they call another touch, I don't know if it'd be after. Maybe it's a roughing the passer. I think it's after.
Roughing the passer, so.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, if they would have called that one back, this crowd would have absolutely lost it. Boy, that.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, touchdown's good.
It's going to be on the kickoff, and so Saline's going to have a really good opportunity to pin them. Turner's just going to have to put a little leg into it, and he's going to be able to boot it way to the back of the end zone. And that, you wonder how that's going to help them.
And the kick is good and into the parking lot, and Saline's up 14-7 here with 6:15 remaining in the first half.
And folks, if they win this, they will move on to regionals to face the Rockford Rams, and that would be a rematch of last year. Saline lost 14-0 at the Big House. Before that, they've had 3 matches in the last 4 years with the Rams. They won by forfeit week 1 after Rockford got sick on a team build. They were at some team building thing in northern Michigan, and they got sick.
They were come to play.
Yeah, there were conflicting reports as to what. And then the first year they played, that was Joshy Jacks. I think that was his senior year, and he lit them up one way and down the other. And it was a 25-point game, and then they came storming back, but didn't have enough time, and Saline was able to win that. Sorval, they have a 2-1 series edge, and that's been something you've seen under Palka. You never saw Saline play these west side of the team. You never saw Saline play these west state teams before he got here. Right. It was always mid-Michigan, lower mid-Michigan, out toward the Irish Hills, but now it's Rockford, Muskegon, Mona Shores,
Grand
East
Rapids.
Kentwood, exactly.
Yeah.
He's getting, because he knows that's where the good teams are.
Right.
Because frankly, outside of Detroit, there's not a lot of great teams. I mean, around Detroit, then you have West Bloomfield, but like you get out of like the Oakland, Genesee County, Wayne County area, and there's not a lot of talent. You got some good
and
teams.
the Detroit teams really don't want to play us. They haven't really. And Mumford's the only team that's scheduled us. They don't like to play here.
Oh, they onside it. I think. Oh, it's a scramble. Oh boy, I think East Kentwood got it.
They did, but it was a nice play.
Well, they had it too. They had a chance to.
Yep. So you only gave up maybe 10 yards on the as opposed to where they got here. So it was a great opportunity.
Yep, that is a great opportunity, especially when you have that 15-yard little. And I think Tarek had a chance to recover, but it's so hard. You have one eye on the ball, and you have another on the yard marker. You don't want to get a penalty for, touching the ball before that 10-yard limit. But regardless, Saline's defense is able to get off the field here. That's going to be huge.
Yep.
Their offense, Saline's offense just took it to Kentwood that last drive. And they had their.
I think you're going to get a steady dose of Blakely, and there's the first one, and up
That's
the
a
middle
big
he goes,
hole.
and he's gone.
I don't know. Griffin might have a shot to run him down.
He did run him down. Wow.
Well, that's what you're talking about. It's just it's going to be that kind of game.
Yep.
It's going to be that kind of game. They will answer, But and it's going to be a good game too. It's going to be a good game, and you like to see Saline's offense able to score right back if they are given the opportunity here.
Yeah. Or you want to hold them to a field goal attempt here.
Absolutely. You want to go into the half with the lead. That's the important thing because they have the ball to start the third quarter. You don't want to be down, 1-2 possessions to them. Now Coden checks in. Saban checks out here.
Again, handoff to Blakely.
That's
Conan makes the tackle.
That's a good job by. He's come in and he's given them some good time, or some good playing time. And he only gains about 3 yards. That's a productive whatever, but with the way Conan is, it's really hard. Or Blakely is, it's hard to tie him back for a yard. And then he was the only one around. Conan single-handedly ramped him down.
Yep. And he is a little bit bigger than Blakely by about 10 inches and 100 pounds.
Blakely reminds me of Hibbert. At least he's built that way.
Nice.
That's Ashby. Atta boy, Jonah. Boy, he just took it, Logan Brown. He told the 5-star or whatever, because he's been on that side, and that's about the second or third strong play he's had.
It was handoff to the fullback, Joshua Leedsma.
And now it's 3rd and 10, folks. And now if you're Saline, what do you have here? If they're able to stop them force them to a field goal attempt, that is huge. Absolutely huge.
Kentwood's gonna call a timeout. So it's actually, it looks like it's 3rd and 9 because it's 3rd and goal to go.
And the ball is marked at the 9-yard line right now. Yeah.
So.
But I tell you what was so impressive for me, you got a bunch of no-name Saline offensive linemen. And who did you have in on that drive? Logan Brown and Mozzie Smith, 2 Big Ten football commits who are 6'3" and 6'7" and over 300 pounds, and Saline ran right at them and took it to them.
Exactly.
That's a testament to coaching more than anything else, because you get a lot of teams who, frankly, they're going to look at those guys and they're going to be scared. They're going to be scared out of their pants, and because it's not easy when you look at a guy that's that strong, and they're 300 pounds, but it's all muscle. They're not playing.
They're not obese.
No, they're not. They're not playing butterballs.
They're big boys. Yeah.
They ain't playing butterballs. And, Saline, and it's a toughness factor more than anything else. It'd be hard for anybody, for any offensive lineman, to look at a guy, say, this guy's going Big Ten. Look at how strong he is. He's got 80 pounds on me, and he's 6 inches taller. Right now, Saline's O-line is taking it to him. They're passing it a little bit, but they're running 6, 7, 8 yards every time, and they're not avoiding them. They're going right at them.
Well, but that's Saline's game, and that's where you really give them credit.
They don't back down.
Away. Yeah, you can't go away from what got you here. So 3rd and 9.
And the crowd.
Again, Dent rolls out, throws it out in the flat to number 2, and he's stopped.
Stopped. You got to ramp him up.
And he does. So do they kick the field goal or do they try for the touchdown?
I think they're going to try for the touchdown, because if they don't get it, Saline's going to have it really deep in their own territory. you know.
No, they're bringing out the field goal unit.
Okay.
They want the points.
They do want the
because
points.
That's what won it for them last week against Brighton, and they probably have flashbacks of that. And they're seeing what happened against Brighton. They didn't score but 3 points in the second half against Brighton, and with Brighton having their backup quarterback in. So they're going to take points, or at least it appears they're going to take points when they're available.
You got to watch the fake, though. You got to watch the fake.
You do.
So like Polka, they're well coached, and they're going to try to push something out of the Rabbits' hand because, I mean, this is a huge play, folks. Absolutely huge. If he's not
high snap,
and Griffin blocked it. Griffin blocked it.
And Saline will have the ball
Holy
at their own 28-yard line.
Oh,
M.J. Griffin.
That's big players making big plays, man.
There you go.
Oh man.
So we got one of our turnovers back.
We did, and that's yeah, he came blown. I mean, it took them a long time to kick it off, though. I mean,
it was a bad snap. We've seen it on the punts, and their long snapper is looping them. You got to rifle that back there.
Well, he did. It took the kicker a long time to bring it down, and with Griffin's speed off the edge, and that's important here too. Now, if you're Saline, what can your offense do? Are they able to punch it in again and really put East Kentwood on their heels going into halftime?
Because, as you say, they get the ball coming up.
Exactly.
Halftime.
And I can hear it. They're not. This score is not going to hold. They're not only scoring 7 this entire game. There's just no way.
No. Well, if they do, it'll be a dominating performance by Saline.
Yeah, I don't think it. Harbaugh's got to get rid of it,
and he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get rid of it right there. You know, he had time, but at least, if nothing else, he didn't try to force it.
No.
You know, you'd rather him take the sack than live to fight another down than him try and force something. You know, and you know he had a little bit of time. You know, but with Mozzie Smith in there, you know, you're not going to be able to drop back. 6 seconds But now you see Clone Mega and Griffin. This is the Hornets' most athletic package they have out there, and Trevor Arico. Now you're going to have Griffin in. You're going to have Clone Mega in. And you're going to have Arbaugh check out. Good snap. Griffin. And he's
bottled up.
That's going to bring up third and a mile right here.
The problem that we've had, and this is nothing we can do about it, Griffin's not thrown the ball from the Wildcat all year long.
No, so you know he's going to run it somewhere.
Right.
You don't have to respect the pass at all.
So that's where you go to a naked bootleg or something else and try and roll away from the pursuit.
Question now is, how aggressive are they? You know, do you because your defense has started to really get things clicking, and they got third and a mile. Albaugh's going to wing it, and he's got Murphy. Murphy bowls his way.
And for a first down, beautiful. Like we said earlier, Murphy's just so much bigger than anybody guarding him. Back to when we were in the state finals, that was Bryce Woma. We were talking before the game where Bryce Woma had 6 to 8 inches on anybody trying to guard him. And Murphy, while he doesn't have the height on him, he's quite a bit taller than the D-backs here for East Kentwood, but he's clearly got 50 pounds or more on him.
And it's all muscle. I mean, it's the
hand off to Griffin, cuts it up inside. Nice blocking there.
And that's a solid run. That's going to be right at about midfield right there. Now Saline has 2 minutes.
And they kept the clock running there.
Well, the good thing is, though, you have 3 timeouts.
There's an injury on the play.
It's going to be for East Kentwood. You have 3 timeouts, but you have
apparently
Turner.
We only have 2. At least that's what the scoreboard says.
Because I thought East Kentwood took both of theirs. I didn't think Saline took 1 timeout, but who knows?
I did too, but we can be wrong. But we're getting a timeout right here because we do have an injured player. We can't see it, but he's
I don't know who it is.
I don't, No, you never like to see injuries.
No, you
don't. On these cold days, even the little ones can be
well, you have slick fields, and we went to that Milan-Chelsea game, or I went to that Milan-Chelsea game last night, and the one, like, Milan's field was so just rain-drenched. You know, you think of, like, the old-school football. You know, you got a farm field on one side, it's just a muddy – by the time that game was over, everybody was just drenched in mud. And even as good as this field is, you know, there are going to be slick spots as the weather gets colder, and that's when you have the chance to roll your ankle or something.
This isn't good because they're helping him off the field.
He's limping heavily,
That's number 8, Tayshawn Cutts,
yeah,
the
he's
linebacker.
made some plays for them.
Yes. Hopefully it's nothing serious.
Well, he has been able to put weight on it, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
He's not, you know, he doesn't have it reclined. You sometimes see that when an ACL or an Achilles is blown out. And folks, we had just to give you some scores: Lapeer beat Oxford 35-10. Brighton, excuse me, that was from last week. Clarkson beat White Lake Lakeland 26-6. So those two teams advance. Bedford lost 27-25, and Belleville beat Monroe 49-33, and they're going to move on to face Chippewa Valley.
Harbaugh back to pass again. Wide open.
He's got Malinzak.
Malinzak.
Holds on. Oh, he lost the ball. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
And Malinzak fights it back.
Did he get it
Let's
back?
see who gets it back.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
You can't.
Oh.
That's a killer, man.
On the 5-yard line. Tried to make a little something out of it, and that's all right. So
nothing else. You got a minute 49, and they're pinned really deep.
Yep.
At the 4-yard line. They are, but it's been probably just trying to do a little bit too much right there as well. But our balls looked very, very good, and that's very encouraging to see. Trying to do a little bit too much. He was wide open, and there are holes in this Chippewa secondary. There are
East Kentwood.
East Kentwood, yeah. There are a lot of holes. And now you're going to see Saline. They can't allow the big play right here. That's what's kind of afflicted them. You got a minute and 49, and they're at their 4-yard line. You have to be able to keep them off of the scoreboard here. You just have to. And they've already used a couple timeouts. So, they're going to run it.
Blakely runs into his quarterback.
And Conan again. Wow.
No gain on the play. You wonder if Saline's going to use some timeouts. They'll probably wait one more possession, and I think East Kentwood's going to milk this clock.
Because they're with the way they don't want to give Saline any chance.
No.
With the way that their defense has been playing. Frankly, they're lucky not to be down by more than 7.
Real lucky.
They're very lucky.
So it'll be 2nd and 9.
And I do think that I don't know though. Even if they don't, whatever. I don't think I call a timeout here just because of what you've seen.
Blakely again on the carry.
You got to get him. You got to get him
the
right
first
there.
down.
Yeah, I mean they were able to. Oh, that's a horrible flag.
It's the same blind ref that called the illegal block on our quarterback. Calls it from 40 yards away on a late hit out of bounds.
Well, it was 3 seconds after he fell. He called that. I mean, he is just having a god awful game.
I wonder what community he's from.
Man, I'm trying not to whatever. But that's
and I don't like negativity either, but that's just he saw the reaction from the East Kentwood sideline, so he decided to call a flag. He's the same official that flagged Andrew Harbaugh for that took the touchdown off the board.
Well, you had the judge right there who didn't call it,
Yeah.
But it's the backside judge who comes in from 30 yards away.
Well, he wants to make sure the game's about him as opposed to the players.
Exactly.
But fortunately, we have a review official up here in the stands who reviews all these plays, and so I'm sure he's watching that, and they'll review the film, and this may be his last playoff game of these playoffs with those types of calls. Pass out in the flat to number 2.
I don't think he got out of bounds.
He
is not out of bounds. And they're going to have to hurry up. I mean, they don't have a lot of time, and they don't have a lot of timeouts.
Well, they do have 2 timeouts, so they must.
They should have 1.
It's all right. 46 seconds to go, but they don't seem to be in a big hurry. I think they know that they can score quickly, so they're not rushing it. They don't want to make another mistake. They don't want to turn the ball over.
Well, Saline's got to keep everything in front of them.
Again, Dent back to pass.
Good coverage.
And he throws it
out of bounds. And that took a lot of time to develop. That took a lot of time. That's a 26. Now you got 26 seconds. And they're really that hurt quite a bit because they just took 20 seconds off the clock and weren't able to gain anything. But the clock does stop for the first down. If this was the NFL, obviously you'd be probably more content to let them get 10, 15 yards because by the time everybody runs down the field, you're going to have 5, 6, 7 more seconds run off the clock here.
So it's 26 seconds remaining, 3rd and 3.
And you'd like to Saline's D-line get a little bit of pressure here. Overall, the secondary's held up quite well. But, you'd like to see Wisniewski, you'd like to see Gammo, you'd like to see some of these guys.
Dent back to pass. And he overthrows his receiver. Now it's 4th and 3. Wouldn't be surprised if they don't punt it here to make Saline, because there's no reason to
give Saline the ball back with this part of the field at the 47 when you get the ball first. Yeah. I mean, right now I think they are going to bring the punt team on, so another solid.
But maybe we can get a botch snap again, blocked on that.
Yeah, I'm happy that foul didn't come back to bite Saline in the butt.
Yeah.
You know, because that gave him 15 yards and that, but and if you're Malinzak right here, you have to be careful. You can't fumble the ball.
Maybe
Just
he'll
take a
do
knee.
what Griffin did after Griffin fumbled. He had a huge return. Maybe Colton Malinzak will have a return here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they punt it out of bounds.
Either that or this is when I wouldn't mind him getting away from the ball. Then you take a knee and you go into the half. I mean, you just
Right.
this has been one of those games where the ball's just really slippery, and I mean, there's been fumbles on both sides, and the last thing you need to do is give them some gift touchdown, and give them momentum, because right now all the momentum is with Saline.
It is.
And that's how you need it to stay. Momentum is a contagious thing. And you want Saline to go into the locker room. Right now they're playing hungry. They know that they can hang with these guys and beat them. And they know that they've left points on the board, though. So they're hungry for more, and that's how it needs to be. You don't want them to go, because once they start feeling down, even in the slightest, that's when things can turn, and they can turn in a hurry, as we saw against Chippewa Valley.
Yes. And just to comment on the officials, I am a high school official. I have been for over 35 years. So I understand the pressures on some of these people, but what I've always done in the 35 years that I've been officiating in the high school athletics is that I look back and what I do, and I never try to be the centerpiece of any of the games that I officiate.
Because it's about the kids.
It's about the kids, and that's why I got so upset. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too with, and these kids being here is a product of their hard work.
He did kick it out of bounds.
And he took 15 seconds, and Saline's going to take a knee right here and kill it. I would be very surprised if they tried to run anything right here. Despite, this game's had everything. Fumbles, interceptions, batted touchdowns, running. I mean, just you name it, we've had it here in the first half. And that's what I think has been so exciting is as a Saline fan and as a former Saline football player myself, you love this underdog mentality. And that's what I always love playing for them is that, I mean, you could put them against Rocky Balboa, and they're going to give you everything they have. They might not come out victorious, but they don't get scared by anyone. They could be facing the New York Giants, and they wouldn't blink an inch.
East Kentwood calls a timeout. Didn't know if they had the proper personnel. One of the things in Polka's career we talked about earlier, they've never lost more than one regular season game under Coach Polka. So they've never lost more than 2 games in any season under Coach Polka. So they are well coached, historically a disciplined team. Today we've had some uncharacteristic.
Yesterday too,
last week. But fortunately, right now they have the ball. 15 seconds to go in the first half, and they're up by 7.
Correct.
And they have been a second half team for most of the year, in the sense of their defense has been lights out in the second half all season long. Offense has sputtered a little bit sometimes in the second half, but the defense has been unbelievable in the second half.
Well, you mentioned too how Saline's only lost one regular season game for that. Look at who they've lost to. I mean, it's always teams that either end up going to states or winning states. Muskegon Mona Shores. We all know how Rockford did, especially in 2005. I mean, they had that stretch, late 90s, early 2000s, where nobody could beat them.
Detroit off to Monday.
Solid run.
Very solid run, and he keeps churning. And I think we're going to see more of that in the second half.
Well, because they've been doing that at will. They have been doing that well all game. And the one thing you see that Saline's running tougher than they have any other game this year. I mean, they're just running over people. I mean, you saw Murph stiff-arm people at the 50-yard. That's nothing else but him wanting it more than the other guy.
And that's the end of the first half. And the other thing is, I think Polka wanted to get a little confidence booster there running that ball. And also, look at East Kentwood. They're not. Some of their guys are not really hustling off the field here.
And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing for Saline, because you get a feeling if Saline's able to score 1 or 2 more touchdowns, they're not used to being in this spot. I mean, they were whatever against Brighton, and they're uncomfortable because their offense isn't. When their offense is going, they know that they can, hang with anybody. But they're not used to relying on their defense, and I think that's where they're worried. Is Saline's put them in an unfamiliar spot. And folks, we will be back in 15 minutes to bring you guys the second half of this district final game. And as always, I'm Nathan Stearns.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 2018 Saline High School Marching Band. When we leave our wonderful Canadian neighbors to the north, what comes to mind? Beautiful wilderness, ice hockey, or maybe those special quarters that don't work in the vending machine. Well, we think about all the great Canadian artists that have shared their music with the world. Our show tonight salutes musicians of Canada, starting with the 1960s powerhouse band Kentwood. Featuring guitar solos from Grace Riley and drum major Michael Lance on the polka, here's Magic Carpet God. We move on to one of the greatest rock trios of all time, Rush. This group of three amazing Toronto musicians are known for their incredible musicianship, ingenious musical complexity, and philosophical lyrics. With drum major Holden Collins on the vocal, here is Rush's 1981 hit, Tom Sawyer. Canadian singer and songwriter Leonard Cohen has crafted many beautiful melodies that are known around the world. Tonight, we feature baritone soloist Andrew Franklin, snare soloist Matt Schneider, and guard soloist Claire Young in one of his most recognizable compositions, Hallelujah. To close our show this afternoon, we jump ahead to just last year for a reggae Latin song written by Puerto Rican Luis Fonsi, featuring Canadian pop superstar Justin Bieber. Here is music from the most viewed music video on YouTube with over 5.5 billion views. The feature tour of Avery St. Lawrence. Here is Despacito.
block kicks, tip passes for touchdowns. It's been a little bit of everything. However, Saline had all the momentum in that second quarter going into the half. It's going to be really interesting to see how East Kentwood responds, because right now Saline's defense has their number. They've done a really good job slowing down Benton after that opening 3rd and 16 drive where they scored a touchdown. Other than that, though, Blakely's been pretty much silenced. I mean, they had both teams had a lot of missed opportunities. You have the block kick for Kentwood. You have 2 fumbles, especially the one by Malinzak down at the 5. Griffin fumbled it and gave the ball away, and then you had the personal foul chop block when East Kentwood's driving at the 30-yard line, and they had the ball, got the first down, and he's about the 20-yard line, and they had a chop block that brought that back and pushed him out of field goal range. So both teams have left a lot of points on the board. You just get the feeling that whichever one of these teams doesn't continue to give the ball away on a silver platter is going to be the team that ends up winning this game.
And I got to make a correction. We're going to give the officials credit. We do review stuff, so at halftime we went back and looked at the penalty against Saline that called back the touchdown, and the penalty was not on Andrew Arbaugh, so I'll give myself credit. I was correct on that. It was on the wide receiver. He did a blindside block on 2 defenders. That's what the officials called, and I was informed by the Michigan High School Athletic Association that that's a point of emphasis this year, and it's for the protection of the players. So it was a good call on that play. Turner, James J.T. Turner set to kick off for Saline.
And hopefully he's able to pin him back in the end zone like he's been. And I think it's going to die at the 3-yard line. Oh, and he slips. Yeah, that's a gift. He was trying to cut back. Morrison was right there, however, and they're going to get the ball at the.
And they're both shaking up.
And Ashby was right in there, too.
Ashby was slow to get up, and Blakely is injured on the
play. Boy,
play.
If he's out for them, that's huge. That is absolutely huge. You hope he's okay. But you worry, though, when he cuts like that.
And he's holding his hip, so let's hope that
it's nothing serious.
Nothing serious. As we've always said, these are high school kids, and win or lose, it doesn't really matter. I mean, we like as a community support our teams, but you just don't want to see injuries, and it's a point of emphasis anymore to make sure that these kids come out of here healthy. And
he did get up under his own power, and he's limping over there. He's probably going to take a couple plays out, but you always worry because he planted his foot and fell down.
Yeah.
And that's when you have a lot of those tendon injuries, whether it be hopefully he maybe just hyperextended something instead of, tearing something. But now it's going to be interesting to see how they rebound. Looks like they're bringing in 21 Jaden Jones at running back. The senior, I guess he's Blakely's backup. And what's also interesting is you're getting Conan to start the second half instead of Saban. But I can't say I blame Coach Leslie. Conan's had himself a heck of a game.
Pass is complete by Dent. Pick up about 9. It was good coverage on the play.
It was very good coverage there by Nelson. It was draped all over him. Did a good job not reaching in. Yep. You got to give him credit. Denton's been a little inconsistent. Did a good job, though. That pass, and it'll be about a gain of 9 yards.
Oh, they backed it up for some reason. Interesting spot.
I know.
It was clearly near the first down marker, but
Saline will absolutely take it.
And Blakely's back in, and he picks up the first down.
Didn't gain much, though. Good job there by Wisniewski, trailing him and getting him down. Tell you what, Brad Wisniewski's had himself a good game. Doesn't seem to matter who he goes up against. He's one of those players that he plays better the better the competition level is.
Yep.
You have some players that are just naturally like that. Adonis Gamble's like that. Conan's starting to become like that. And Saline's offensive line's like that. They like playing these really good players because the better the competition is, that's when they play their best ball.
So it's first down East Kentwood at the 29-yard line.
Saline's got no deep safeties, so, they're trying to keep everything in front of them.
Again, handoff to Blakely.
He lost the ball, and I think the
Hornets. By Saline.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. It's been that kind of game. It has just been that kind of game.
Alex Morrison on the recovery, and he was stripped. I don't know who stripped him, but it was a great play. So Saline takes over on the East Kentwood 34-yard line. And that is what we needed.
That is, not only is that what they needed, but they need to punch it in right here. They need to punch it in right here. They don't, if I'm Polka, I'm running. You know, I don't think you can afford to get too cute with it because they have not had answers for Brandon Monday. And if you are going to pass it, throw it quick out to Griffin. And
Or
yes,
Murphy.
Well, I know they know what we're doing, but they haven't been able to stop it. You know what I mean? It's two different things between knowing what a team's doing and successfully being able to stop it. You know, that's why Cam Newton's been so good for so long. You know he's going to run it when it's first and goal at the 2, but you can't stop the guy, and that's what you can't have.
Procedure penalty.
And that's what you can't have. And that hurts. You know, it's been, you know, one of these teams has got to kind of stop the bleeding. You know what I mean? It's just been. I think this has been the most penalties Saline's gotten in any game this year. East Kentwood's not doing themselves any favors either.
Well, part of that was also Saline was late coming in with the offense.
They were.
And they never got comfortable or set.
Well, I'm not sure I'm really in favor of, like, the complex packages at this point. You know, I understand having the blocking, but I don't think you need 5 wide receivers running in 3 different directions. Oh, and Arbaugh falls on the snap, and, boy, this drive is coming apart at the seams right now at least. Now you're going to have 2nd and a mile.
Well, you know, and they're doing it to themselves.
And both teams are, yeah. So but with Saline getting the ball at East Kentwood's 34, they have to be able to get something here. You can't, whatever.
Well, you would hope that they would get
you
something.
would. You do. And now you got 2nd and very long.
20.
If nothing else, hopefully they're able to flip the field at least a little bit and pin East Kentwood back deep.
Right.
But, yeah, both of these teams are they're not playing like 9-1 teams flat out.
They are not. Both are top 10 teams, but maybe it's just the character of the competition. Monday on the carry, picks up about 3.
3-4, and that's what he's been able to do, but now you have 3rd in a very long, very, very long 17. You wonder if this is 4 down, and what I mean by 4 down territory, obviously if they don't get anything, they're going to punt it, but if they get, you wonder if he's going to, like, try to cut the distance in half, you know what I mean, where maybe he tries to get 8, 9, 10 yards to make it a more manageable first down, because the bottom line is they're at the 42-yard line, so they're knocking on the door, and especially when you have a kicker like Turner, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I don't think they're going to try to get all 18 yards back, and they have to use a timeout, which kind of hurts.
It does.
You know,
which is odd because there were still 14 seconds left on the play clock.
Well, this is what the offense wasn't good at all last week, and you know they're kind of coming out of the locker room a little bit slow right now. I mean, you have to know what you're doing, you know. And right now the offense is quite flat. You know, fumbled snap, procedure penalty, and now you have to use a timeout because people don't know what they're doing. So I mean that's you know those were the mistakes against Kalamazoo Central, but the later on you go into the playoffs, the less and less you can afford to make them. Because you ain't going to beat Cass Tech doing this stuff. You ain't going to beat Lapeer doing this stuff. You ain't going to beat Clarkson doing this stuff. You know, that's the bottom line.
You're not going to beat most playoff teams doing this.
Correct.
So.
And they're very fortunate that East Kentwood's been as bad, if not worse, by shooting themselves in the football, which every one of these teams loses is going to be kicking themselves at night because they know that if they were a little bit more disciplined, they were going to be able to win it. Hopefully it is East Kentwood.
Yes.
But that's the thing, though. If you're Polka, obviously you'd be happy to get the district title, but there's a lot they can work on. A whole heck of a lot. Empty the backfield.
Pass out to Monday. Runs it up. Picks up. Like you said, now it's decision time. They're back to about the original line of scrimmage. Do you go for it? Do you punt it? Or do you try a 51-yard field goal?
No way you try the field goal. I think that's the – I know Turner has some legs.
He got the win with you, though.
So you don't want to give them a chance for a return, though. That's
they're
the thing.
going for it.
And I don't blame them. I mean, you're at the 35-yard line. And
don't be surprised if he tries to draw them off either.
Try to draw them off and make it a more manageable –
Yeah.
More manageable 4th down. It's 4th and 6 a lot easier than 4th and 11. And they don't. He's got time. He's got Murphy, and Murphy's got the first down. Come on, Brendan. Come on. Get, yes.
Down to the
first and goal.
2-yard line.
Woohoo!
Beautiful cut over the middle, and that was a nice play.
He's been the Hornets MVP so far, flat out.
Yep.
You know, he's been out tough, and then they have not had an answer for him. He's a load. He's a load. That's well, and it's all muscle, and that's attributed to conditioning. But he's a hard hockey defender, and I'm so happy they didn't have a hockey tournament this week because I don't know if they'd be winning.
Hand off to Monday.
And they fumbled the ball. Good Lord. So they get it back. Saline get it back.
They don't know. Yep.
That's
Saline
ridiculous.
fumbles
Come
at
on,
the 3.
guys. You can't. Saline can't keep doing this. I don't know what else to say. That's 3 times they fumbled in the red zone. You know.
Twice inside the 5.
Yeah, you just.
Well, they're
it's
still
hard.
talking about it.
And it's hard. It's hard as a broadcaster right now to stay positive. It really is. It's just they're at the 3-yard line, but you can't. Even if they didn't recover, you can't lose the ball at this point. You just can't do it. And Murphy's doing everything he can to keep them in the game, and then Polka wants an explanation, and the refs barking at him. If nothing else, they get the ball at the 3-yard line, but man, they have left points on the board. And it's the offensive line's had a phenomenal game. No sacks. It's just been skill position players that have been, making little silly mistakes. Hope Saline's able to flip the field right here.
And Barkley
and
runs it in the middle, and he's going nowhere.
Safety, or the forward progress is going to. Yeah, just hoping. Forward progress is going to stop him. But if nothing else, hopefully Saline's able to get off the field here. And if nothing else, though, they're at the 3-yard line. I mean, they have a long way to go before they're in.
Loss of a yard on the play brings up 2nd and 11.
I mean, it doesn't matter how many athletic guys you have. Trying to march 97 yards on the Saline defense is not easy at all.
No.
So, I mean, they did flip the field, but after a while, you just want them to score.
You got to take advantage of the.
You just want them to score and make it a 2-possession game.
Because if we had scored at the end of the first half in here, and you're up 28-7,
it's a different game.
Blakely again met right behind the line of scrimmage.
And they're right at the goal line.
And he's injured again. That's not good. Both running backs are injured, both the fullback and Blakely.
And now they're.
And he can't get up right now. And he's dragging himself.
Yeah,
you just don't want to see that.
No, you don't.
It's just.
You absolutely don't. But 3rd and 13 here, and you wonder how aggressive they're going to be. That hurts them though too on this 3rd and long. He might have to come out. He's not been the same.
No, and I mean, I understand it's a playoff game. It's a tight playoff game, but the coach has got to remember the health, right? And he's clearly limping. And, get the doctor or the training staff or both to look at him. We have a team doctor here. We have ample training staff. It's about the kids.
It is about the
kids.
kids.
And it's not a criticism of the coach.
And I think that's the tendency as a coach is like, can you still, it's that old school mentality. You got to get back out there at all costs. But, Saline's able to get off the field here. That helps with field position quite a bit. Them not having Blakely on the field hurts that. Because
you're expecting a pass, even though it's in the end zone. If you can put a pressure on, you may pick up a hold in the safety. And he is back to pass. And it's intercepted.
Morrison.
Alex Morrison.
Touchdown, pick 6. This has been the weirdest game ever, I swear. Holy.
There is a flag on the play.
Is it after the?
Don't know.
You can't have a big play without a flag this game, it seems. It's been penalties, it's been this, that, and the other. Holy moly. Oh. And that is holding on.
Declining. So it would have been a safety if you hadn't intercepted the ball. So.
That's what you needed. The field position pinned them back, and they were able to punch it in. And at this point of the game, it doesn't matter how they get points. They just need points. Oh, man. And Arbaugh, are they going for 2 here? No. Arbaugh, the holder, yeah. But I don't know why you'd go for 2. Just kick the extra point. But boy, that is huge. That is huge. And they've been pinned back. And you wonder how. I mean, look, they're East Kentwood. Look at their sideline. They don't right now look like a team that has something in them. And hopefully I'm not jinxing them, but I mean,
but they came back they were getting dominated by Brighton last week, and they came back.
I know, but that was the second quarter. I mean, you're starting to get midway through the third quarter now. It's starting to become a little bit of crunch time. High snap,
kicks
and
up.
Turner is able to. That's a good job by Arbaugh ripping it down. Very good job right there. And, Turner gets a half-decent snap, and he's booting through. Now what you'd like to see from him is to pin them back deep. Have enough leg to get them to the end zone. And I tell you what, Jonah Ashby's had himself a game. He's going against Logan Brown. And Brad Wisniewski's going against Logan Brown, who's the first-ranked offensive tackle in the state of Michigan, and is going to Wisconsin. And they have taken his lunch money time and time and time again. I mean, in run support, Blakely's running a yard, and then he's getting hit by either Wisniewski or Ashby. He's not been great in run at all. And then they finally got pressure when they needed to. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, they're going against the best of the best in the state of Michigan right now, athletic-wise. The best recruit and the best defensive tackle, and look what they're doing. I mean, it's unbelievable to see. And I, as a former Saline kid, grew up here, went to school here, played football here. It's something special, and it's something special if they're able to win today. They'll be playing Rockford at home, and
that'll be key too.
That's huge, and I think the home field advantage has been very big for them.
Yep.
Just traveling that far is such a, because I remember my sophomore year we had that's when Joshy Jack played Rockford here, and we had to go to Rockford because that's normally how it goes. If the varsity team's at home, the JV's away, and vice versa. And it was the longest drive. I mean, and it's so.
Again, a pooch kick. Don't go out of bounds. Don't go out of bounds. And Saline recovers that.
Oh my goodness! Holy Moses! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Wow, that's just a lack of awareness by East Kentwood. That's all that is. Holy moly! And now
Sam Lepesky
making Josh proud. Little brother Josh Lepesky played football here. Was a grade ahead of me, but now if you're Saline, you got to get more points. You just got to, because you punch it in from here and you're really putting them on the ropes. You're really putting them on the ropes. And I'd like to see the home crowd get it. They're staying on their feet, but and speaking of the devil, Mosley Smith comes in for the tackle right there.
Monday on the carry.
Yep, and the thing is, I do think Turner can make it from out here. I really do think he has enough leg from. It's about a 40 if they're not able to get any yards. I mean, it makes it about a 40, whatever. And he has enough leg. I mean, that's not whatever. But hopefully you get the touchdown.
Touchdown, more yardage.
Melt the clock a little bit, too, would be.
This may be a good spot for Colton Malinzak. Hand out, no.
Fake bootleg
to Murphy again. And looks like he got the close to the first down.
Boy, he's doing
about a yard short.
He's doing his best Bryce Wallman impression today.
He is.
I mean, they both never ran extremely fast, but you couldn't bring them down. It took a Mack truck to bring both of them down. And I played with Murphy, and I played with Walma, and he was Walma's understudy, and Walma helped him so much. Just teaching him the playbook, because the playbook doesn't change a lot for Saline. You have Polka, you have the same offensive system.
Monday carries
and he got it.
He got
just
the
needs
first
to get down. You don't want to risk a fumble.
So it'll be first down at the 13-yard line.
And that's a hard run right there. 3rd and 1. And they ran it right at Mosley Smith. Fell forward for the first down, and that's good to see. You don't have to do anything cute right here. But and that's what I like. They're not throwing it extremely deep or doing these intermediate 5-10 bootlegs and everything. And now they're getting it to Malinzak, your guy.
Nice. And look at that run. Carries it down to the 5-yard line.
Now just short. And hopefully there's not going to be any extracurricular stuff in the red zone this time. We've had 2 fumbles the last 2 times. Hopefully Arbaugh is able to take care of business right here. And once again, folks, whichever team wins today will host Rockford, whether it be at Saline or at East Kentwood. Hopefully it will be at Saline. Arbaugh, oh man, he got hit quite well. It's going to be the ball down at about the.
It's going to be close.
I think he got the first down. I do. I think they'll give it to him. The clock stops while they do move the chains. So.
Yep, first down. So it's 1st and goal. Go
at the 4-yard line. And that's what you do like doing. I mean, they're running it right at them. Not trying to get too cute. And if they are passing, it's just a little. And now you're seeing the jumbo package with Gamo and Wisniewski. So they're either going to serve as a decoy. But I tell you what, you have those 2 strong kids coming in, blocking down, and it's going to be hard for anybody to stop them. You have Siddeley out there. You have Murphy out there. I mean, they have all the big boys out there, and then they have the Bruiser Bundy. This is when it really helps if you're Saline. And you see Wisniewski and them.
Oh, nice play. Nice play by East Kentwood.
And he's still able to get – I don't know if they're going to give him anything.
Yeah.
it's still a very manageable second and goal here. Question is, do you run it again or what? I think you have to. I mean, look at, you got those power backs in between Wisniewski and now he's going to fake. Well, he had him, but I'm happy he got the ball off. He got the ball off because he almost fell back for a loss of about 10 yards. Yeah. And if nothing else, you're well within field goal range. And that's important too. Yeah. You get points out of this drive one way or the other. I wouldn't say it's 4-down territory. It might be.
Oh, you take the. I think you got to take the
I would too. I would too. Make it a 17 point. Exactly. Yeah. Because the clock is starting to become a little bit of a factor. Yeah. With 5 minutes left in the third. Yeah. And I have been impressed with Arbaugh's demeanor a little bit more today. I know he had the one interception, but, ain't nothing wrong with taking a sack at times, folks. You can't force it. Live to fight another down. And he runs over. He's got the edge. Sitterly needs to let him go. Touchdown, Hornets. No flags. Oh, man, Brendan Monday. Have yourself a game. I mean, they have not been able to tackle him. I mean, they've been arm tackling him, and he's run through around her so many people, and boy, that hurts if you're East Kentwood a lot. So right now, Saline is ahead 3.
This is the way to come out in the third quarter. We said the offense a little sluggish, and even with the trickery on the onside kick, the offense has looked much better.
They have. Well, they have, and I tell you, they got to keep going, though. East Kentwood, you don't want to give them you don't want to give them any momentum. I mean, they have. You don't get to this point in the playoffs and have that many big recruits if you don't have a lot of talent. No. I mean, Brighton's a very good football team. They beat Brighton. So right now, Salinas ahead 28-0.
28-7.
Or 28-7, excuse me. But and the other thing, too, East Kentwood, in my opinion, is better than Rockford. So this is the true test for Saline. And, of course, you always have the risk of it being a down game or whatever. But I firmly believe whichever team wins this is going to either face Clarkson or Lapeer in that Final Four game. Because Rockford squeaked by 2 teams that, frankly, aren't very good. Traverse City West, I know they have the 1 seed. You're up at Traverse City. They don't really play anybody. I have a good friend whose dad, Jeff Sloan, coached around a lot of the areas with the head coach of Pinckney football for a long time. He has a lot of connections up in the Traverse area, and I was talking to him. I went to the game with him and my friend last night, and he said, he was talking to the Traverse City coach, and he's like, we don't play anymore. I mean, they're a 1 seed with 80 playoff points, and, they're really not tested, and then they squeak one out against Hudsonville by the skin of their teeth, and Hudsonville had 71 playoff points, and they won an ugly game against, Rockford won an ugly game, 18-13, and they won an ugly game by Hudsonville. And Hudsonville just got run off the field by this East Kentwood team. It's 41-3. So, and then you had the factor that Rockford has to travel here, and I think Saline's in a good spot.
Now, the only thing you always remember about Rockford is they are tournament tested.
They are. But and their coach Munger's been there forever. He's won state titles in 97 and 05. And he's going to do it again.
Again, the same thing, that pooch kick. He kicked it out of bounds.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily, I don't know, with all due respect, I don't know why you're doing that. You're up by 28, pin them deep. I don't know about you. I don't like that call at all, to be completely honest with you. Because you give them at the 40.
You give them 35.
You give them at the 35-yard line. Yeah. If you kick them deep, they haven't had any success returning it. I mean, you're up by 3 touchdowns. I don't know. I don't know about it, but
that's all right. Or you got to keep it in the field of play.
You do. But I mean, when
I understand the kick, so you don't want it to return, but you got to keep it in the field of play.
Well, the thing is, though, when they're told to angle it toward the sideline, you open yourself up for that risk.
Right.
And, they pooched it last time, and it, fortunately, it didn't roll out of bounds. But I mean, they've been kind of floating that line here, and this time it comes
Blakely's back in there again. I was hope he's
all right. Yeah, you don't want you. And then Conan's now lining right up over the center. Boys, he had himself a game.
And Dent's back to pass, and it's tipped.
Tipped by Gamble, yeah, boy. And Ashby gets tangled up with number 72 for them. That's what you like seeing, though. I mean, they've been number 72 for them. Dallas Fincher has helped guys off the ground. Mays has done that too. They're playing the right way.
They are. And I mean, they slapped hands. There was no hard feelings there. Just good, strong play.
Two guys that are playing hard football that get tangled up. You saw Caleb and I know some of the play. There might have been some personal fouls. There was the chop block, which is iffy anyway. There was a couple, late hits, but other than that, you're not seeing the stuff that Kalamazoo Central pulled last week. They're not punching the face mask. They're not, acting like Royal you-know-what. So, and that's good to see. He's got time. Boy, he got sandwiched. It's going to be hard for him, and he's slow to get up. I mean, those are two strong kids, and how do you like that? They just took it to the number 1 ranked offensive line in the entire state of Michigan. And
bowled him right back to the quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
3rd and 7, 3rd and 19 on the 26-yard line.
And now when does it get to be 4-down territory? You know, you're down by 21 and the clock is rapidly ticking down. The problem is if you don't get it, you're giving it Saline with another chance to.
I wouldn't assume this deep you can go for it, at least in the 3rd quarter, because we have seen they do have quick strike capability.
They do, and he's got time. Incomplete.
Oh.
No
but
flags.
Seven had a chance at it, even though it was tipped. But nice.
That was pretty good coverage.
Noah Nelson came over there, made a nice play on the ball.
He's had a good game. I was a little worried about the Saline secondary just because they haven't really been tested since really week 1, week 2 against Grand Rapids, who passed it earlier, then really went to the run game. But Monroe didn't have much of a passing game. And you saw Kalamazoo Central, who didn't pass it at all. So, you know, the only result of their touchdown was that fumble recovery by Trevor Rico, you know, that they returned for a touchdown. But, you know, I was a little worried how they would come out because the Ann Arbor schools don't pass a lot. But, you know, so far they've done quite well. And when Kalamazoo Central did pass, they had that one drive, they had a couple pass interferences. But they've been very good so far.
A better snap that time.
That's a hard kick.
It's a huge kick.
And now
he's got. Oh, now get away from it.
Yeah, you're up by three scores. Now's the point when you want to be aggressive, but you're not at the point now where you need to start taking unnecessary risks.
And Kentwood's punter has had a whale of a game. Christian Tanner. He's their backup quarterback too.
You wonder if he's their soccer player or something, because boy, he's kicking it 40 yards in the air and then getting another 10 yards on the bounce.
Yeah, he's doing well. So it'll let's see if. I think if Saline can get a sustained drive, even if they don't get points on the board, if they can take
it down past the 3rd,
into the 4th quarter, that's just huge.
That is huge. And now what's kind of interesting is you're seeing Carter St. Lawrence, who's been at guard all game and has had a good game, is being replaced by Evan Schunk. I don't know what necessarily what that's about. Maybe they're trying to get another key reserve in, but you know, hopefully that doesn't come back.
Yeah, because I don't see anybody with Jamie, the trainer.
And he's had a good game. I mean, the Saline line's overall done a pretty good job protecting Arbaugh. I don't think they may have a couple quarterback hits, but I know they don't have.
Monday again on the carry.
Another good run.
Yeah, stays in bounds.
That's important too. They're able. This is when you need to take and this is what I admire about Canton. They need to take a page out of Canton's book here. Run it 3-4 yards a down and just melt the clock. You know, that's what Canton always did.
You got to shorten the game at this point.
You have
so it's 2nd and 7.
You know, and that's a good job by him staying in bounds, knowing the situation, and he's still able to get 3 yards. You know, he's not. He's done he has a good feel for the game, and some players have that and some don't.
Monday out again in the flat, nice cut inside.
Got hit hard, and he's
picks up about 4, 5, so it'll be 3rd and 2.
And that's what you're seeing from Saline that's so debilitating. It's not been the long strikes that you've had in years past. It's just the 4, 5, 6 yard games that are so hard to defend.
Yes.
You know, because it wears you down more than those quick plays ever do.
Right.
You know, when you're on the field for 5-6 minutes and you're methodically marching down the field, it hurts. And now you have 3rd and 2, your entire playbook's open.
And that pass to Monday is like a run, but it keeps you balanced. They can't just let loose and play for the run. You got to run that. He got it.
He'll get it. Yeah. Well, they've seen that bootleg too many times because Murphy got his butt knocked down.
Yeah.
But that's a good play by Arbaugh. You know, he was hesitant to run it, but they were giving him just enough, and he got just enough by about 3 or 4 yards, and that's huge.
It is. Keeps the
now
clock
exactly. And other thing too being that I've liked. I mean, he has been able to uncork, but I mean, they're throwing these little slant passes to the side, that are working. They're not trying to uncork it because, frankly, Arbaugh doesn't have the arm that Jackson did or the arm that Schwarzenberger did. I mean, those are both guys that are playing college sports. I mean, we know Schwarzenberger's playing center field at Toledo, and Clomega for the first carry. And
nice run.
Stay in bounds.
He got there's a flag on that. I didn't think that was a bad hit.
No, neither did I. That was just a hard hit. I don't think he went.
But they're gonna say he went for the head. And
they've been very flag happy. They've wanted to keep a clean game, but I thought that was could have hit as you did. I mean, I know it was on the far sideline, but I didn't see the helmet bend back. I think he kind of
He hit him right in the shoulder.
The only question, though, sometimes if you leave your feet, even if you do make
that's true.
contact with the shoulder pad.
To the head. They said he hit him in the head. So.
Oh, is he gone then?
Well, I don't know what they do.
I think he's gone. That kills that.
And he's had a great game, so if he's out, that will hurt him. But he is not out of the game. So.
No, and you don't. Yeah, you're not seeing the hook that.
No. So now it's now we're in
their territory. Yeah, 2 minutes.
44-yard line with 2:40 remaining.
And now you're going to see them take up a lot of the clock because they have an opportunity to run 3 plays here, and really, if nothing else, they flip field position too.
Right.
You know, Cropsey has plenty of leg to be able to get it back.
Yes, he does.
You know, and the one thing you can't have if you're Saline is you just can't have another turnover. That's the last thing you can afford to give them any signs of life. Narbaugh, time. Oh, what a throw!
Wide open.
Holy
Touchdown.
Moses. What a throw. Now the route is on at Hornet Stadium. Holy moly. This is the best game Saline's played in a long time. Look, that was a phenomenal throw.
It was.
He threw that right on.
And
another personal foul. Yeah, the hinges are starting to come off for East Kentwood. They're really starting to lose their cool. Really starting to lose their cool. And all this year, people have been doubting Saline. You lost all your offensive line started. You lost your starting quarterback. You lost Andrew Dibley. You lost Emmett Turner. And I know it's 2 personal fouls that you're out. With all the personal fouls, you wonder, you know, how much.
Who's picking them up?
Yeah, exactly. But now they're in a lot of trouble. You know, down by 4 touchdowns, and they're not used to this. But Saline finally quit with the mistakes, and when they've had the chance to go for the jugular, they have. And right now, they look like a state championship contending team. They just do. We're going to have another.
Yeah, it's offsides against.
I wonder what the penalty yardage is for this game, because it's been.
It's a lot.
It's been. And now they're conferencing, and it's starting to become a really chippy game.
So instead of milking the clock, they just scored.
They did. Well, that works too. Well, they still took 4 minutes off the clock.
Yeah. So, but it's and we wouldn't have thought of it. Maybe we can get some of the second stringers in for some valuable time.
Absolutely. Boy, and they just give credit to Saline. Boy, they have turned it on in the third quarter. And I didn't see this coming at all. Flat out, I did not see this coming. I thought East Kentwood was projected to win this game, not by much. It was kind of almost a pick-em spread. And, I mean, what else can you say? You have an offense coming in that's averaging 45 points a game. They beat up on some decent teams. You know, and I don't know. You can't say enough about Brendan Murphy. Boy, he's played. This might be the best game of his career.
Oh,
but,
he's just.
And this is the impact that he's had on this game, and you wonder about the big impact he would have had on last weekend's game.
Right.
You know, because he was gone that game, but they're going to need him for next game against Rockford. He's running crisp routes, and he's got really good hands. He's got one of the best hands on this Saline team. You know.
Oh, yeah, and like I say, he creates matchup problems.
He does.
And I think he's going to create matchup problems for most teams because not, like I said, he's tall at 6'2", but he's just built solid.
Well, and he runs well, too, for a guy.
Runs great routes.
You know, and it's not like, you know, you don't have a guy that's bumbling down the field that's really clunky when he's running.
No.
I mean, it's crisp, it's clean, and it's efficient.
Right.
You know, and that's an attribute. I know what, you know, Nader LOR is the tight end coach.
Right.
You know, how good he was here, you know, way back in the day, 5-6 years ago. And
they're going to onside kick it again. And
they got it.
Oh,
my goodness. Holy. And off the East Kentwood. I don't know how you can't after a while. And it's Ashby. Holy moly. How they just haven't been able to defend that at all. You know, and And that just went right off one of their guys' legs. Right off of it, and it ricocheted right back into the Saline oncoming onslaught. And with 2:26 to go here, Saline has the chance. Who would have thought that Saline has the chance to turn this into a running clock? Holy mackerel.
Yeah, you wouldn't have guessed it.
No, you wouldn't have guessed it because it was 7-7 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, and East Kentwood scored first.
And they're a good team, and
right.
that's the other thing, too.
Just imagine if we hadn't have fumbled on inside the 5 twice.
Oh, yeah.
This game could be really ugly at this point.
But, and folks, we'll be on the air next week if Saline's able to close this out as they take on the Rockford Rams.
And most likely on Saturday again.
It will be because they're traveling from this. And then the regional game, or if they are able to beat Rockford, that Final Four game would also be on Saturday at a neutral site, yet to be determined. Holy
nice catch.
Oh, he didn't complete the process. He was so close. Yeah, but rather him incomplete it than fumble it. He never had control of the ball. But, yeah, this game's going on 2.5 hours, and we're still in the third quarter.
Yeah.
It's definitely going on quite a bit. And I'll be over until 4:30.
I may miss some of my Michigan-Penn State game.
Yeah, you might miss the first half at the rate we're going.
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do?
Nothing you can do. It's been a lot of fun so far out here. That's why we say to you fans, come on out, watch these games. There's nothing better than playoff football.
And they got something special this year.
They do. And Scott carries the ball, carries it to the 35-yard line. Surprised the officials aren't blowing the whistle on that.
Now they're starting to get chippy. Chippewa Valley. You got number 4 for them. Shane Cage starting to jaw his mouth. Kind of hard to jaw when you're down by 28 points. You're getting wiped off the field, but I never understood that. But whatever works.
Well, they're prideful. No matter what you want to say about East Kentwood, they have overall for their school a great athletic program.
Well, and they do, and right now they're getting embarrassed. And
and if you're a Division I Big Ten recruit, you don't like it.
You don't. Well, not only that, but they have several. They have as much Division I talent as Belleville and Cass Tech do.
Right.
And they're and this isn't
Oh. Nice pass to Clemega.
Wonderfully slipped. It was a little behind. And this, folks, this isn't nothing against the MAC schools. There's different tiers of Big Ten. This isn't Toledo, Eastern Michigan, Central. This is Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. The good Big Ten schools, not Rutgers, Maryland, who have good football programs but aren't elite. These are the big, these are the big boys. And when you have a guy going to Michigan, you have another guy going to Wisconsin, you have a junior who's got offers from Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and you have a 1,500-yard rusher who's got 28 touchdowns, you're going to be hard to beat.
He's going to carry that into the end zone. He got the win behind him.
He did, but in all, I have a hard time remembering whenever I've seen a bigger just offensive line. Their offensive line is absolutely, most NFL teams only have 2 6'6" guys, and these guys have Mostella 6'6", Fincher 6'4", Logan Brown 6'7", and then you got Mozzie Smith on the D-line who's 6'3" and 320. It's just, and it's all muscle. There is no, and we've said that, these guys carry the weight quite well, kind of like Michael Onwenu does for when he played for Cass Tech.
But what we talked about at the end of the half, what did we say when they were walking off the field?
They didn't look like they were ready to compete. They looked like they looked like they'd lost the war. And I think it came down to the fact that they knew that they had no answer. Once their offense hasn't been knocked out of gear all season.
Right.
Their only loss, they scored 38 points. So
pass out in the flat to number 10, picked up about 8 yards. That's Rael Day.
But they scored 38 points. So I don't have the exact stats, but I know that they've scored 20 points in every one of their games. That I know.
Right.
And they're not used to this at all. Like, Saline's used to being knocked down a little bit. Their offense was ugly against Grand Rapids. Their offense wasn't great, and the defense, frankly, got shredded a little bit against Chippewa Valley. So they've experienced
back
it before.
To pass again,
Conan,
and they just swarm him under.
That's a clean hit.
Yep.
The quarterback's still running around. Boy, Henry Conan has had himself a game.
Actually, we have a new quarterback in for East Kentwood. That's Maurice Williams. So they've got a different course. So Dent's not in there anymore.
And Saline is beaten up. They are taking these Division I recruits to school. You're not going to see Adonis Gamble playing on Saturday. You're not going to see Zach Saban playing. If they are, it's going to be small.
Right.
You're not going to see Brad Wisniewski going Big Ten. They're just not big enough. Nobody's going to be interested in a 5'11" guy that's 230 pounds. Doesn't matter how fast he gets off the ball. But that's the one thing. Saline doesn't always have a lot of big recruits, but they have a lot of players here that you're not going to hear about, outside of the.
Gammo almost intercepted it.
And now, he wishes he had that.
Yeah, he saw glory in his eyes.
He did. Anytime a defensive lineman gets an opportunity like something like that, and that's the thing you got to think about too is that we have had some big recruits. You have Tyron Miller, who goes to Kansas. You have Josh Jackson, who's starting
for Kansas.
For Virginia Tech, and he got hurt.
Bryce
Walma, Arizona.
Starts for Arizona, but
Dimitri Douglas, our left tackle, who's going to Michigan State, tore his Achilles, but I know he's back on the road to recovery. You have MJ Griffin, who transferred. You had Cam Cole, who's now at Central Michigan. You have Vinny Pateri, who's kicking at Eastern. You have C.J. Gildersleeve, who's played at Central Michigan. So they've had a lot of guys that have come
East Kentwood
that have come through this program. But some of the best players that they've had are guys that, as good as Connor Hibbert was, he was only good enough to go to Auburn.
Right.
And he had legitimate Division I talent.
Well, when we lost to Cass Tech, he scorched him for over 200 yards, and he ran away from him. It wasn't like it was flukes.
He was bowling him over.
Yes.
He was bowling. Yes. He bowled Jalen Kelly Powell over 2 or 3 times.
And it was actually him and Jalen Kelly Powell. They both had over 200 yards, and we had actually kept Donovan Peoples-Jones in check. His big play was the two-point conversion, but it was Jalen Kelly Powell that actually scored us in that game.
It was. And then you look at that game in 2014 when they had Mike Ribber and Michael Onwenu and Rodney King. You look at that team, that 2014 team.
So Saline's got 2 back this time too.
And I think that they're trying to prevent the bounce. You know what I mean? I don't think they're content. Malinzak.
And he got it.
And he got drilled. Good job hanging on to the ball right there.
But that's one thing about Colton Malinzak.
He pops right back.
Yeah, he's tough as nails, that kid.
So does Clonmega. Clonmega's taken some of the hardest hits I've seen this year, and he pops right back up. They are durable kids. But going back to that point, you got look at Colin Payne, Brenton Baldus. These are guys who never went, but they were so integral to that. Mitchell Reddy's never went.
Unfortunately, another injury for East Kentwood.
Steven Slattery never was big. Never attracted any big-time interest. Neither did Buckley. Neither did Alex Brownlee, Tyler Schrader. Some of them went to play smaller ball. Tyler Schrader went to St. Francis in Illinois. But, this was a state championship team that really probably should have won.
Right.
And they didn't have, other than Walma and other than O'Keefe, yes, you had Josh Jackson, but their offensive linemen really didn't have any, Division I talent. Neither did the defensive line. You had a couple of solid running backs, but, Tarek led the state in tackles, and he was only good enough to get a walk-on offer from Michigan, which is obviously nothing to sneeze at, but he didn't really have a lot of Division I offers. Travis Brown. They had players, but it's not like, there was no position group like they have where it's like 3 guys that all have Division I offers.
No.
Saline's never had that. But it's just it's a result of coaching, and it's a result of Palka came here from Toledo Whitmer. They were always right there. They went to the Final Four a couple of times, and if anything about Ohio football, you get to some of those big schools in Toledo and Akron and Cleveland, it is insane.
Ooh. They had a screen set up to Malinzak, and number 21 jumped the play and almost went 6 the other way. They read that perfectly, but fortunately for Saline, that ball falls incomplete. But this is another opportunity for Saline. They can try some stuff now. And that's the first time we've really seen that Malinzak. And so we've got it on tape. And hand off to Monday, cuts it outside, then picks up 8.
That will take us to the end of the world's longest third quarter.
Yep.
And at the end of 3, folks, Saline rips this one wide open, puts 21 up in the third quarter to go ahead 35-7. And they are 12 minutes away from
the district championship.
Or the regional championship. They're 12 minutes away from having a chance to play Rockford for the chance to move on to the Final Four. And if they're able to win that against Clarksville up here, they will go back to the state championship. And I think it's been a combination of things. They've gotten better, but with all due respect, I think they got a good draw. I really, really do. Because they don't have to play Chippewa until the states. Because Chippewa, Belleville, and Cass Tech are all on that other side of the bracket. So, with all due respect to East Kentwood, and they have some players, don't get me wrong, all day, every day, rather play Rockford in the regional championship than Cass Tech or Chippewa Valley.
Oh, no question.
And
no question about it.
they got a bad draw last year. I mean, they had 103 playoff points, and you want to talk about a team getting hosed. You know, go 8-1 or 7-1. They had some good wins. Detroit Mumford was a playoff team.
Right.
Bedford was a playoff team.
Monroe was a playoff team.
They had talent,
Yeah.
and they have to go on the road to Canton. And they got destroyed. You know, no other way of putting it. I mean, I was in that game, and we did not play very well at all. It was an ugly game, cold, rainy, and then when you lose your heart and soul of your defense, C.J. Gildersleeve and Danny Wiedmeyer to ACL tears in back-to-back games, it's hard. Because you don't have the opportunity. You know, if it happens in the earlier whatever, you have an opportunity to groom the guy and get him more playing time. We didn't have that. No. You know, it was like guy goes from bench to guy goes to starting in the playoffs in a 1-week thing, which is hard for anybody to do.
Oh, definitely.
And
Canton's always given us trouble.
Because their offense is so. I mean, that's how they've been. I mean, and Monday's going to be tackled for
nice play
by number 23, Joshua Ladisima. But the thing that you know, and they're like Saline. They don't always have these big recruits. They run one very specific, like this wing T offense. A lot of traps. They don't pass it very much, but they do it so well. I mean, they lost in the first round of the playoffs, and they still scored 28 points. It's always been the defense that's hurt them.
Right.
They always put up 28, 35.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
even back in the day when Vince Helmuth was running the ball for us, it was the same thing. They could put up 45 points, and they control the clock.
They do.
By doing that.
They take 6-7
nice
points.
Punt by
a lot of hang
Crosby.
time.
Nice punt.
That's going to bounce out of bounds.
Inside the 15-yard line.
Inside the 10.
Might be.
I think it's going to be at about the
10-yard line.
What
there we go.
Now that pins them deep. But and the draw, maybe it's a little bit of justice from last year, but I'm not. It's kind of aching to me like how Michigan went to the national championship. You know, because I mean you look at who they beat. I mean, don't get me wrong, they beat some good teams, but they're playing a 12 seed in the Final Four. They're playing Florida State, who's a 9 seed in the Elite Eight, and that's kind of what Saline's had. But at the end of the day, you beat who's on your schedule. You beat who's on your schedule, and you know the bottom line is they beat Rockford. They're 2 games away from being state champions.
Right.
So, and that's the bottom line. You can't. And I know they're thankful for their drive, but with the way they played today, they could go up against anybody in the state. Flat out.
If you play this way.
If you play this way.
And the funny thing is, we had turnovers and penalties. Pass out to number 10.
I think he's short of the marker. I don't know if they're going to give it to him. Or they are going to give it to him. But, you know, and that's nothing against Rockford. They're extremely well coached. You know, they're an extremely good football team, but they don't have the Division I next level speed that Belleville and Chippewa Valley does, and that Cass Tech especially does. They just don't. You know, they're kind of like Saline. But chances are Saline would have had to go on the road to Chippewa.
Hand off to Blakely. Haven't seen him in a while, and he cuts it up, and he gets a big gainer.
Before Monty Green finally wrestles him down.
Yeah.
You know,
carries it into the Saline territory at the 48-yard line with 11 minutes remaining here.
Yeah, you wonder if this is too little, too late. I mean,
let's hope it's
exactly. I mean, I'm not opposed to them scoring a touchdown. I'm opposed to them scoring a touchdown in the next 2 minutes. If they want to score a touchdown with 3 minutes to go, then by all means go ahead. But you know, and Rockford has had some really good players, and they had. What was the name of that Michigan? They had Quinn Nordine, and then they had that Braden, 71 for Michigan, who went.
Intercepted by Alex Morrison.
I don't know who he was throwing to. He's got it.
And he's got blockers in front of him.
He's got Gammo. He's going to cut it back.
It up inside.
Is that another pick six? Is that another pick six for Alex Morrison? Holy, we are in a running clock, folks. That is 2 pick six.
As long as we make the extra point.
Moses. Woo, baby. That is. What can you say other than Alex Morrison has 2 pick sixes, and boy, the Band-Aid's been ripped off of this one, folks. Holy moly. I mean, I don't know what else you can say. Just Saline's defense right now is playing out of their minds.
They are playing out of their minds, and what East Kent was, they're forced to throw, which is not what they wanted to do.
Correct.
And when you do that, and especially with the backup quarterback in there, it leads to this, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I don't know who was. I mean, he wasn't throwing. I mean, Morrison was right in the middle of the field and hit him right in the hands. And you like Saline. Saline is doing a good job catching those. You'll see a lot of teams, even in the NFL, it'll hit a corner, a linebacker, right in the hands, and they'll drop it. You know.
Right.
But and Saline's made them pay. You know, they finally started capitalizing on their mistakes. And we said that it was going to be the team that finally decided to stop making mistakes, and Saline has.
Right.
You know, they turned it over early in the third quarter, but, you know.
And the kick is good, so it will be a running clock after the kickoff.
Boy, that, didn't see that one coming. I mean, it was a 14-7 game and a half. Holy moly.
That's not what you told me before the game, Nathan. You told me you thought it was going to be a huge blowout by Saline.
No, yeah, I did. I thought it was going to be because I just don't know what, and I think some of it, and frankly, Saline is not so good as to beat them by 35. You know. It's a result of them shooting themselves in the foot, but I think it's another. They've just quit the last quarter.
Well, East Kentwood has quit.
I mean, and the white flag has been all but waved.
Yeah.
So I don't care what team you are. If you're just going to roll over to Saline, and it's going to be just night and day. But Saline is not 35 points better than East Kentwood. There's just no way.
They are today.
Today they are, but overall no. You know, it's hard to be 35 points better than any team in the state of Michigan, let alone a 9-1 team that has this much talent. You know, it's so uncharacteristic of them to have their offense struggle this much. This is a team that comes in averaging 46 points a game, folks. 46, and they have 7 right now.
Right.
You know, the defense has always been a little, but frankly, their offense has been as bad, if not worse, than the defense. Their defense, or the offense, has given Saline the last 14 points, and the result of 2 Alex Morrison pick sixes.
Right.
So, you know, it's just been a really, it's one of those games where it's like the one day that they, you know, kind of don't show up is this day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always, that's the one thing with football, is you always have the opportunity, no matter how good the team is. You know, a team can just have one really bad day, and it could sink everything.
Right.
And that's what's happened today.
It is. And you can't underestimate, no matter what anybody wants to say, you have to travel clear across. They got a horrible draw.
They did.
They got a horrible, horrible draw. They should have been hosting a region. They should have been playing the Rockfords and the Hudsonvilles, who were in their conference, and instead they got shipped across the state to play Saline. And
well, they got Brighton week 1, which is a
horrible,
draw.
tough
game. That's a football team that might beat them if their quarterback doesn't get injured.
My guess is it is a team that would beat them.
It is, and they are at home, but I mean, they had 100 playoff points, and then you have Rockford, who has 80. It's like 81 or 82 that gets, you know, home until. And
now we have to call a timeout. Coming out after the kickoff, this is how shook East Kentwood is. They can't even get on the field in time to snap a stick.
It looks like pulling a little playbook out of Jim Harbaugh, who uses 2 timeouts, it seems, on the most pedestrian of plays. But now here's what you're seeing is you're seeing some of the Saline backup QBs rolling in, and you didn't think you were going to have the chance to see some of the reserves come in, at least not so far. And now you have Larry Robinson and Ferrari, and I tell you what, I got here early at about 11:35, 11:40, and I think Ferrari did a good job filling in, you know, at Ypsi Lincoln and at Grand Rapids. Yep. But my gosh, is this Robinson kid for real. I mean, he's standing at the goal line, and he's uncorking at 45 yards and not even putting any.
Like you used to do in practice. All right, good.
And I've all along said he's the most athletic quarterback Saline's had since Josh Jackson. He needs to put some weight on. I mean, he's a smaller kid, but he transferred. I don't exactly know where he transferred to. But his main sport is basketball, and he's a point guard. So he has a lot of – and look for him to get the reins. It's going to be him and Ferrari.
Williams back to pass.
And that's a holding in 3 quarters.
And he almost got it intercepted again.
Yeah, but number 50, Logan Brown, pushed Ashby and was ripping his jersey the last 5 yards, and they did.
Well, you know, but Williams is – and, I mean, I know he's the backup, but I don't know who he's throwing to.
Neither do I.
I think yellow's a clearer color for him to see because that's who he seems to be tossing it to. You know? So, but we are on a running clock, so even on an incomplete pass, the clock is running.
And that will shorten the game up quite a little bit here, unless I can't imagine East Kentwood's going to use many of their timeouts.
No. They only have 1 left anyway. So, again, Williams back to pass, and now he's hesitant, and he's going to run it.
And there's a flag. You're going to be a holding, I believe. That's normally in the area of holding.
Yeah.
Now the clock does the clock stop for a penalty on a running clock?
We're about to find out. It does.
I thought it did. I think it's going to be a holding because it looked like normally when your quarterback scrambles in that area and it's thrown in the backfield, it's always going to be holding, you know. And that, you know, just another mistake to the long list of mistakes that they have made today. They made.
Well, and this is showing you that Williams was indecisive there.
He was.
And so that cost his team because he ended up he should have run immediately if he was going to run, and unfortunately he waited too long and they picked up to hold him because you can't expect with the pressure that Saline's been putting on.
You can't expect the backup to come in and do anything.
No.
I mean, he's coming in a blowout game against one of the best defenses in the entire state of Michigan. He probably hasn't played much except in garbage time. You know, now you're asking him to go in against, and you'd probably be a little shook too if you saw this normally vaunted offensive line who's so big getting run over by these kids.
Blakely with and he is wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage.
And that's Zach Saban, boy, Conan and Saban and Gamble Saline's defensive line is just they've been good all year, but they're taking it to another level at the right time. They're taking it to another level. I mean, they have taken East Kentwood's lunch money on the offensive line.
No.
You know, and they are East Kentwood is so much bigger and probably a little bit stronger, but you know, just because you're a 5-star, folks, doesn't mean that you're going to play like a 5-star every game.
Well, and even if you can, you still have to play.
You do.
I mean, there's no you have to play.
You do, but I mean, you know, we haven't said a lot of Phillip Brown's
Williams
name.
Back to pass.
That was
And,
he had him, man. He just looped it.
But he's also nervous back in the backfield. It's 4th and 25 from the 5-yard line. They got to punt it.
And the clock's now.
And so.
Clock's now rolling 2. And now, the clock's continuing to tick down. And if you're Saline now, you know, you don't want to get hurt. That's the big thing, especially with the way the field is. You just want to get out of here with the win and prepare to play Rockford. And tell you what, they're going to want revenge after losing at the Big House last year. Get away from it.
Another good punt. Didn't look that way, but he got a beautiful roll.
It did, and now while Saline takes the offense, this game's going to be over very quickly here, folks. Even if Saline is able to score, I guess.
Because the clock still runs on the punt.
The clock runs on the punt. Now, they'll probably take it down to at least under 7 minutes by the time they get the ball off. And I can't imagine. I wonder if Saline's putting in the backups. You hope they do. I mean, it's a 35-point game, and it's a 7 minutes to go. And who would have thought that the backup, and they are getting time. Brian Sutherland, Colton Watson, Max Fair, the guys that normally don't play. And boy, how much of a gut punch is that if you're East Kentwood? You see Saline bringing in their backups against your 5-stars. And that is such a gut punch. You know, I guess my question was answered. Would they go with Ferrari or Robinson? And I think it is Robinson. Maybe we get to see.
I think you're going to get to see both of them. Handoff inside to Scott, and he gashes them for about 13 yards.
And they're running. Yeah, now they're bringing in the second-string offensive line.
But East Kentwood's playing defeated.
No, I know. This is it. The fire's gone. The fire's gone.
But now the unfortunate thing for East Kentwood is they have to. I think they need another injury in Kentwood. That's why they got to get their kids out. Especially seniors, I could see you playing, but juniors, get them off the field because you got another year coming, and you know, no reason to play underclassmen that are valuable to you that are starters right now.
Not in a game like this, correct?
No.
And the other thing too is, you know how quiet that bus ride's going to be on the way back. I mean, they're going to be, and with all due respect to Mozzie Smith, who's a senior, to Logan Brown, this is not the way you want to go out.
No.
At all. I mean, if nothing else, I mean, look at like when Saline lost to Cass Tech. Yes, they were upset. I was in that locker room. Everybody was upset. But at the end of the day, you knew you gave everything you had.
Right.
You knew that everything you had, you threw. It's a lot easier to sleep at night knowing there are going to be some teams that are better than you. That's just how it is.
Right.
But I think they feel like they left a lot on.
Scott with the carry again.
I mean, I feel like they probably, and I would be willing to bet that they feel like they left a lot on the field. You know, and that it could have been a completely different game if they didn't make all these uncharacteristic mistakes, and that's the difference.
Right.
You know, when that game against Cass Tech ended, you know, we were all smiling because we know we had just hung with the best team in the state that was sending so many Division I talent.
Right.
But I mean, and they're not playing like a Division I talented team right now.
No.
I mean, it's just, you know, and it's just going to be such a better pill to swallow. You know, if you're Brown and you're Smith. I mean, yes, you have Big Ten offers, but I mean, you know, you spend all off season thinking to yourself, you know, you had enough talent, you know, to possibly go quite far.
Gets the handoff, cuts it outside, keeps running hard, and gets almost to the first down. down to about the 28-yard line with about 5.5 minutes remaining here in the contest. And this is clearly 4-down territory. They're not going to kick a field goal.
No, they're going to take the clock down for all it's worth.
Unless they're going to let number 49, the JV kicker, come in and try one. But I doubt that. That's kind of rubbing salt in the wound here with up 35.
That absolutely is.
You don't want to see any of that.
You don't, but you also don't get paid to make the other team feel good. That's how.
Oh, no question about it. Clemega picks up the first down, and he's still running and breaks several tackles and down to the 15-yard line.
And Saline's got 3 high-tier running backs between Mondays, Scott, and Clemega.
Right.
I mean, any one of these guys would be the premier running back on 90% of the teams in the state of Michigan. I mean, they're that good. And, that's the other thing, too, is look how fresh they are. Clemega's fresh, Monday's fresh, Scott's fresh, because they're constantly rotating them in. They each have different skill sets. Monday's a little bit more the bruiser. He's more patient. Scott's probably the best blocker, and Clemega's probably just the quickest straight line speed out of the 3.
Right.
So they each give you that added element, and it's hard game planning for all of them.
Yes.
When you have all 3 of those guys, that each brings something completely different. Just like when you have like a quarterback platoon, like Saline did with Tyson and Jackson back in the day, they both did several things very well.
Robinson keeps it. I think that was a little bit of a broken play there.
Yeah.
And that was a good no call by the official. He didn't hurt him. He did tackle him out of bounds, but he landed on the tackler. So
yeah, you did. But and the other thing too, unless it's blatantly egregious,
right.
You really don't want to throw a flag and stop the clock here.
No.
To be completely honest,
No.
the game's decided. And Saline and East Kentwood both want the clock to run down.
Right.
East Kentwood just wants to get out of here with their tail between their legs and just kiss the stadium goodbye. They've seen enough of yellow and white jerseys for today. They just have.
But you look at the sidelines. How many players does Saline have, and how many players does East Kentwood have? And obviously, we have twice as many as they do. And granted the JV rosters are up, but I'm sure East Kentwood brought up the JV team as well.
Well, they did, but the thing you have to consider too is they have guys going both ways. Brown and Smith have been
too many guys going both ways.
They do. But and that's the thing too, that yes, you might have 80, 90 players, but when you're only playing a fifth of them,
right.
How much does it? I mean, there are some guys on the roster that are JV call-ups that exist for the sole purpose of being camp bodies, to put it.
Nice play by
Robinson. That's the athleticism I'm talking about. I mean, look at that. He took he just slid right by number 26 for them. We don't have him on our roster, but then they're at fourth and change here. Yeah, they're probably just gonna be content to run it here. As the clock continues to roll. I mean, they don't have to snap until it's almost at under 2.5 minutes. I mean, now you wonder if East Kentwood's just going to take a couple knees or anything, or what the plan of action is. But Saline looks like they'll snap in about 2.5 minutes. Scott
right up the middle, and down to about the 1 yard line.
Oh my goodness!
And that was a great play call. For whatever reason, East Kentwood blitzed on that play, and I didn't think there was a prayer in the world that we were throwing the ball.
Now, here's a question for you. If you're the coach, do you take a knee here or do you punch it in? Because they can snap the ball with less than 20 – they can take it down to 1 minute and 40 seconds. So they could probably be content to take 3 knees and burn
And I
the
think
clock.
that's what Polk is talking about right now. He's trying to say, what do we do?
Because, you can score the touchdown, but do you really want to be that team? I mean, you won the war and everybody's happy, and you don't.
Yeah, I think it's a victory formation here. So.
And it is.
Yeah.
Classy move by Saline.
Yeah.
Classy move. And you see Kavion Hunt shove Max Fair almost in the backfield right there, and that's the right thing to do for Saline. I mean, yes, they could have scored a touchdown and made it 49-7, but they can take it down, and the coaches are going to be right there telling them when to snap it. Because they can take it under 1 minute. They can take it under 1 minute and take a knee. There's 1 minute and 20 now. And probably 1 or 2 more knees, and boy, Saline, the district champs. You didn't see this coming. I don't think anybody did. I do not.
Well, Nathan, I assure you, I saw it coming. So, I was just talking about it all week. So, I actually thought Saline would win the game. I thought it would be a lot closer.
I did too. And once again, folks, we will be back on the air next week, and Saline will play Rockford for the regional title. Rockford's going to take that long trip that I had to take before, and it is a long trip. And they play the third West Coast team in 3 weeks. If they win that, they move on to the Final Four. And one game at a time, folks. And boy, they sure proved they belong to me.
Yes.
Sure proved they belong to me. I think after Kalamazoo Central, they felt like they left a little bit on the field. Yes, I feel they might have left a little bit on the field now, but not too much. And that will be it. That will be it, folks.
So
Have to snap the ball again, and Saline wins districts. Holy moly, they destroy East Kentwood 42-7. They will move on to play Rockford most likely next week, right here on Saturday at 1 p.m. As always, folks, I am Nathan Stearns.
and I'm Mitch Gashi.
Thank you guys for tuning in. And come out next week if you'd like. It's going to be a heck of a game. And the atmosphere at Hornet Stadium is incredible. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Goodbye.